Name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate y'all tonight. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me on the show, and I definitely appreciate you for that. There's quite a few things going on, quite a few things happening in the news, all over the internets, all over mainstream media, all in the streets. This whole thing with the impeachment articles is a story. A big-time kangaroo court. Oh, it's going to be fair. It's going to be open. It's going to be honest. Nancy Pelosi talking about, we're going to ponder prayerfully to make sure that the right result happens. Yeah, right. This was in the works for years. They wanted to impeach the president on something. They're going to try to find any little ticky-tack thing they can, and now they've done it. They will not be successful ultimately, because he would not be convicted by the Senate. You got to have 20 senators to flip and vote against Trump to get him removed from office. That won't happen. Also, this shooting in Jersey City, New Jersey, you got the Black Hebrew Israelites, at least one of their flock or a follower, whatever you want to call them, maybe two of their flock or following, decided to shoot up a Jewish store, innocent people, a police officer, and they probably killed an Uber driver as well. But Trump signs a declaration protecting Jews and the media attacks him. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, or you like the show in general, please give the video a thumbs up, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. That'll help me out tremendously. Back to the Jersey City shooting. Trump signs a declaration protecting Jews on campus, and the media are saying he's wrong for that, talking about Judaism is not a nationality, this, that, and the third. I mean, there's plenty of Jews that disagree with that. They believe they are at least an ethnicity, if not a nationality. So, you know, it's weird how they attack him for defending Jews, but when people actually go out there and harm Jews, mum's the word, right? Because it's the wrong racial group that did the act. If this were a white person that did this act in Jersey City, and before I even continue, rest in peace to all those that passed away. Very unfortunate. People lost their brother, their sister, their uncle, their father, their friend. People died in the situation. If it were a white person that did this act, it would be the equivalent to Charlottesville. They talk about Charlottesville all the time, and that was white on white violence. I'm not really sure how it's white supremacist violence when a white person got killed by a white person, but we'll move on. If it were a white person and an accomplice that was also white that killed 3 Jews in a Jewish food store, man, I mean, people will be saying that, you know, Trump is emboldening racist and, you know, Nazi Germany is back, all that. But since the race does not fit the narrative, let's totally just forget about it altogether. But they bring up Charlottesville every day, and that was 2.5 years ago in 2017. Okay, they were talking about that. It's probably in textbooks right now. Matter of fact, I know it's in textbooks right now because I spoke to a young man in Politicon. He was talking about how the Berkeley situation with Milo is in textbooks. But this situation here won't be in textbooks. It won't be in the news too much longer. It'll be forgotten about. Totally. 1,000%. That's just kind of how it is. You know, but hey, that's the world we live in. And things like this happen, unfortunately, it just proves what we know to be true as true. Moving right along, you got Don Lemon versus the memes. Don Lemon getting triggered by the memes. Well, more specifically, CNN getting triggered by the memes. There was a meme of Trump as Thanos doing a Thanos snap, and then the Boomer Squad, the impeachment squad, I should say, Pelosi and Maxine Waters and Nadler and who else? Schiff, that whole squad, it just faded away like when Thanos did to the Marvel superheroes when he snapped. The creator of Thanos, I think his name is Jim Starlin, said that how can this pompous buffoon be using this image? How you gonna compare yourself to a mass murderer? It's like a mass murderer. What? It's a comic book character. It's a movie. These people don't talk about Thanos being a mass murderer when they're marketing the toys and the video games, all that kind of stuff to children so they can play around as Thanos and do the Thanos snap. They got all kind of apps and stickers and T-shirts and everything else. So he's not a mass murderer then, but then when it comes to a meme, a funny meme, all of a sudden he's a mass murderer. I see how that goes. Hey, but it is what it is. I'm not too much worried about that. I'm just saying, let's just not be so hypocritical. Don't say mass murderer and terrible one breath, and then in another breath say, we can show this movie to kids and it's all good. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's that Trump derangement syndrome for you. 1000%. Alrighty. And then I'm going to get back to the impeachment, but I'm going to just move through the topics we got. And then I'm going to just MSNBC attacking black voters. Now, some would say ABL, that wasn't MSNBC that did that. That was their guest. Well, look, it's your guest on your platform. You brought them on. You produced graphics for them talking about these are disinformation, misinformation groups. They named a few groups that are trying to get black folks to think differently as disinformation groups. They name Walkaway, which is not even a black central organization, but they name Walkaway, Blexit, Black Voices for Trump, ADOS, FBA. I think that might have been it. Okay, 5 groups that simply say to black folks, think a little bit differently. You don't have to do what a Democratic Party says. To be locked up with a Democratic Party is not your destiny. Do something a little bit different. And not all those groups that were mentioned were even conservative. But MSNBC said that these groups are disinformation groups. And a lady came on TV and said their only goal is to get blacks to not vote Democrat. That's not true, number one. And number two, even if it were true, is that enough to get labeled as disinformation and Russian bots and stuff like that? So this is what I'm talking about. This is why I talk about black issues as much as I do. It's because you have people that are actively out there trying to attack us for being black and voting differently. Because they know that if they lose, when I say they, I mean the Democratic Party, those on the left, if they lose that 95 to 90% voting block in the black community for the Democratic Party, they're toast. They're totally toast. So if anybody comes in and tries to impede upon their property, their territory, which is the black vote in the black community, then they got a problem. Then they want to attack you. Don't attack me. I'm a free man. Slavery's been over with. It's been 150 years now. I can do whatever I want to do. If I want to vote for, a space alien from Mars, I can do that. If I want to vote for nobody, I can do that. The left, the right, I can do whatever I want. So no group that promotes themselves to be against the Democratic Party should be labeled in a negative way by the mainstream media. But that's what's happening right now. So shout out to all those aforementioned groups. I've been to an ADOS event. I've been to a Blexit event on more than one occasion. I've been to Black Voices for Trump. I've been to I met the guy from Walkaway. I'll go anywhere where people are talking about things that I'm interested in. Nobody can say, you got to be here, you got to be there. MSNBC can't do it. CNN can't do it. Nobody can do it. That's just kind of how that is. Don Lemon, CNN, these people, they have no power. And then they don't have any power. That's why they got to keep coming out and trying to attack us all the time. They got to keep attacking us because they know that their power is dwindling. If we had no power and we had no effect upon the Democratic Party and the black vote, then they'd leave us alone. Why talk about people that have no effect? There are other groups that exist, but they focus on those 5 because they recognize what we're doing is having an impact, and they don't want that to happen. So shout out to everybody that thinks differently, regardless of what race you are, 1000%. And thank y'all for joining. I'm sorry I couldn't be here last weekend, but things come up. It is what it is. Let me see what else we got on deck. Oh, I'm gonna go back. Let's go back to the shooting in Jersey. Now, this whole situation is crazy. People talking about, don't mention race. Race is not important. Race is important in this situation. You have the black Hebrew Israelites that did this. Now, I'm not saying that it's all of the black Hebrew Israelites that do things like this, that go out and shoot up Jewish delis in Jersey City. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these people have some radicals within their group. It's rumored that the guy, Micah Xavier Johnson, that killed those officers in Dallas, Texas, It's rumored that he was kind of affiliated with some stuff like that. You know, he was in pictures with Professor Griff, and Professor Griff is kind of like on that wave. What they call that? They call it a black identity extremist. These guys kind of wade into those waters. Nation of Islam, not so much, but some guys in Nation of Islam might get involved. The FBI has these guys on their radar. The officer that got killed in a situation did not get killed in front of the deli. He got killed at the cemetery because he went out there, I think, with other officers to investigate an Uber driver being killed. Maybe they were telling these people that they ran into that killed him and then went on to kill 3 others at the Jewish food store. They probably already knew what they had going on. You have a lot of dangerous people that are protected by the media and protected by the left. Some of these guys have lengthy rap sheets, violent criminals that are allowed to just roam the streets and do whatever they want to do, terrorizing people in their own community and other communities, as we saw, unfortunately, yesterday at the Jewish food spot. You know, say it was undercover. Okay, it makes sense. It does make sense. Yeah, see, the Black Hebrew Israelites, most of these guys, I've never known them to be violent. I've never known these guys to be violent, but it's inevitable when you have people that kind of, when they don't really vet who's part of their group. Like when you see these guys, normally they're on the side of the road talking about that's right. They're not really into nothing else. They just read from their Bible and stuff like that. You know, they get aggressive with you, but they're not really trying to go out there and hurt nobody. But you got some people in these groups and these organizations that promote that kind of stuff, to go out there and say you got to attack this people and attack that people. And then you have an explosive reaction. That's just kind of how these things operate. The media won't talk about it, though. They'll totally abandon the whole story. They'll leave it alone because the people are black that are the suspects rather than white. Because if you talk about the situation, you got to talk about who did it. Now you got to bring up black on black violence and issues that they don't want to really touch. They don't want to be accused of being racist or anything like that. They want to maintain this pristine image. And then they want to focus on their main objective, which is to attack white people. If it's a white person that did it, it'd be open rain. It'd be a field day. They can do whatever they want. That's kind of how that goes. It is what it is. Yep. Let me see. Valencia Hargrave says, wow, it was Black Hebrew Israelites. They were very violent. I knew it was coming to a head because when they're witnessing on the streets, they've hit women and homosexuals. They talk really bad. I've not seen that, but I'm not surprised if they've hit people, you know, because these guys are all over the place. Really. They're all over the place. And I'm going to go ahead and just hide this person. Don't spam in the chat, man. Like, if you spam in the chat, you're going to have to get kicked out ASAP. Go over the wall. But anyway, it's unfortunate, but again, it won't be spoken about anymore beyond today. I was reading the comments in the video. People were saying that this is the first time hearing about it. How can that be so when it was a mass shooting where 6 people died? It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Yes, those were the same guys, the Black Hebrew Israelites that harassed the Covington kids. Now, was it the same individuals that shot up the deli? I don't think so, but it was the same organization that they were affiliated with, the Black Hebrew Israelites. That's correct. Omar Jr. says ABL is impeachment a possibility. Well, of course, it's going to happen. He's going to get impeached, but will it be successful is the question. See, one thing people on the left don't understand is that even if he gets impeached, he won't necessarily be removed because an impeachment is simply just a trial. That's all. The Democrats put on the kangaroo court. They knew what it was going to be from the very beginning. People like Maxine Waters have been talking about impeaching the president before he even got inaugurated. In 2016, they were talking about impeaching the president. Okay, it's kind of like what did Peter Strzok call it? The insurance policy. The left's insurance policy is to impeach Trump. If they can't get him out due to just regular means, above board means like, I don't know, voting. If they can't get him out that way, then they'll just remove him through other ways. The impeachment process is one. Now, they know they can't actually get a successful removal from office because there's not enough there. That phone call, they're talking about, they're going to charge him with obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. If you were to go to a regular court with that, you wouldn't even get a ticket. You wouldn't even get a fine for that. That's nothing. That'd get thrown out of court ASAP. So they don't have anything to get removed from office. This is a very serious thing. No president has ever been removed from office, ever. There have been some that have been impeached, but none that have been removed. Slick Willie got impeached. He did not get removed from office. Okay. His approval rating jumped after that. It hurt the Republicans. It'll do the same thing to the Democrats, especially those that are in Trump districts. The impeachment process has been pretty much among party lines. There may have been one or two people that are Democrat that voted against the impeachment inquiry, but for the most part, it's been party line vote. Republicans say no impeachment inquiry. Democrats say yes impeachment inquiry. But, two people that might have opted out on the Democratic side. But there's at least like 15, 20, 30 people on the Democratic side that are in or are very close to Trump districts. So they're going to be very vulnerable coming up here in the midterm elections, especially when Trump's on the ballot as a president. I mean, people just going to vote straight ticket Republican. They're going to be out of luck. Why would you vote for a Democrat when you don't vote any other time except for the president? And when those that you might vote for have gone against who you want to vote for to be the president, it doesn't make any sense. They'll just vote straight down Republican. And that'll be pretty much that. People talking about, Republicans, we lost the House. We lost we're losing the Senate. Nah, we're going to be just fine in 2020. We're going to have more Supreme Court justices. We're going to have more of the House. We're going to maintain, possibly expand the Senate. It's going to be great. People are retiring in the Republican Party, but that's going to be okay. There will be others that come into their place and take over. That's kind of how that is. I'm seeing a lot of young folks coming in. You got a little bit of everybody coming in, filling these roles in the Republican Party. Is going to be a new wave. So to answer the question to Omar, he'll be impeached, but it will not be successful because the impeachment only means that there will be a trial. And then they'll see if they're going to get him out of office or not. He will not get out of office. He'll still maintain his seat. He'll be reelected, and that's pretty much what it is. And I think that Trump Jr. will be the next guy in 2024. Mark my words. I said it to my man. Shout out to my man, Wayne Dupree. I was on this show the other day, and I told him, he was like, what are we going to do in 2024 when Trump is over with? Who's going to be the next person? Is that the third? I'm like, Trump Jr. Right now, he's making the rounds. He has his book, and he's doing the book tour, yes, by going and doing press like The View and stuff like that. But he's also doing a college tour, and he's been touring for quite a while, even before the book came out. You're going on Fox News doing hits. You're going and doing a college tour. You're going on different platforms on television, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, possibly, etc. So what you're doing right now is trying to just build your name recognition. Like, he already has that. Donald Trump, he already has name recognition, but he's trying to build the name and face recognition so you know who he is. He's starting right now. People are saying to Trump Jr., hey, do you want to become the president? Do you want to be the next guy? He's like, nah, I want my dad to win. I'm helping him right now go across the finish line. But in 2024, really in 2022, he'll be talking about running. He'll be in the race. He'll throw his hat straight in the ring. 1,000%. So, hey, I can't wait until 2020 when we get Trump reelected. And then in 2024, we're going to keep the party going. It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2024. Don says not 2024. Republicans will lose per history. They wait until 2028. Hey, we're going to see. We're going to see what state the country is in 2024 or right around 2022. We'll see what state the country is. Because if the country's in a good state, Trump's doing a good job, I don't see him losing. I really don't. I just don't see it because you had Reagan and then you had George H., right? So you had George H. after Reagan. So you had 2 terms of Reagan, then George H. It would have been 2 terms of George H. if he did a better job in the presidency, and then you had Slick Willie, and then W, and then Obama. Now Trump, I think he'll do, will one more term as president, of course, to fill out his 2 terms, and then you have another Republican to come in office. Keep the same energy going, and you'll be just fine. The Democratic Party right now has got to make some kind of changes. Right now, they're collapsing. The Democratic Party back in the day was much stronger than it is right now. Nowadays, you don't know what's going on, which way is up, which way is left. People that are kind of like in leadership roles are very old, and they might not make it until 2028. I mean, look at Joe Biden, 77, Bernie Sanders, 78. I mean, these people in how many years? It's 2019. So think about how long 2024 is. You're talking about 5 years. I mean, think about how old Bernie would be. 83 years old? Come on. Who's going to be next up? They don't really have anybody. One thing I noticed in the campaign cycle this time is how strong, well, in 2016, is how strong the Republican side was. You had Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rick Perry. You had a lot of strong individuals that did not make it to become the president. But on the Democratic side, who's strong? Who is strong as the Republicans were? Like, who's the equivalent to Ben Carson on the Democratic side, or Rick Perry, or Ted Cruz, or Marco Rubio, or anybody on the Republican side? Who's the equivalent? I don't really see anybody. And that's not really going to change anytime soon, in my humble opinion, but it is what it is. But thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed already, please do so. And when you subscribe, click that bell for me. When you click that, you get notified if I go live and post a new video. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Definitely appreciate you. We got super chats I need to read off right quick. And who do we have here? Shout out to Daniel Nordine, who says, where we go one, we go all. It's going to be biblical. Take down of the deep state. Hey, I can't wait. It's definitely going to go down. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to a Brazilian American patriotic soldier who says, what's cracking ABL? You coming to Vegas for UFC fights? I love to go to Vegas for a UFC fight, but I've not been yet. But that might be on the bucket list. And he also says, I love arguing with the Israelites in New York City every day. Yeah, they definitely, they'll be on their corner and they will talk to you. That's all I really know them for, really, is being on the corner arguing, kind of like harassing people verbally. I don't know them to be violent. But then again, like I said, I'm not surprised if they were to have people in their ranks that will become violent, because a lot of what they say, if you really want to take action and do something about it, then you might become violent. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Demented Liquor, who says it takes both wings for the eagle to fly. Hey, I'm with you. But I think right now, one wing is being supported by the other wing. One wing is halfway broken and not able to fly, but it's being supported. It's being compensated for by the other wing. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Brett Sessoms, who says the Black Hebrew Israelites and the new Black Panther Party are just as bad as the KKK. Yeah, they can get up there. You know, I won't go that far, but they can definitely get up there for sure. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Will Redding, who says Trump is not orange. He is gold, and gold doesn't tarnish. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Brett again, who says what happened in Jersey City was race-based hate crime. Plain and simple. Hate crime should not protect just one group. I'm with you 100%. If a crime is based on your race or ethnicity or something like that, hate crime is a hate crime. It doesn't matter if the victims are white, if they're Jewish, if they're black, if they're Asian, if they're Hispanic, or whatever their race is. You know, that whole idea of a hate crime is kind of weird because it's selectively enforced. If we're going to have such a law, then let's let it be enforced, you know, in a real way. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. I think we should just look at crime. Hate crime might not necessarily be a thing that needs to be on the books. Just look at somebody that hurt somebody else and see what the punishment should be. If you kill people, hey, you know, take a little seat in the electric chair and see how cozy that is for you. How about that? That's how I feel. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Let me see. Shout out to Daniel, who says, hey, ABL, love the channel. Don't always agree with your point of view, but I defend your right to say it. Here's 5 for cat food or whatever. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. 1,000%. All right. Let me see. All right. Corn Pop, if I censor you, then why are you here? You know, it is what it is. You can, there's certain rules of the chat that you got to abide by. If you ain't here spamming, then you're going to have to get out. It is what it is. I don't really care about nothing else. Thank you, Game Cooker US Rocks VR, who says, keep up the hard work on your channel. I hope Black Americans listening to you and see your view. Trump is imperfect, but not the enemy. 100%, man. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. 1,000%. Outcast 80 says, hold on. They outside the Eaton Center in downtown Toronto all the time. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. Is there a love crime? I've not heard. Well, there's a crime of passion. There is a crime of passion. If you do something, and like, let's say you come to your house and you find your wife in bed with another man, and then you kill the man or something like that, that could be considered a crime of passion. I'm not quite sure if that's still a thing anymore or if it's like a state-to-state thing, but I have heard of crimes of passion. So those do exist. You just get you might get leniency if that is the case. Perhaps. It is what it is. Alrighty. Let me see what else we got going on here. And thank you for joining yet again. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Let me see. Don Lemon versus the memes. I talked about that already. What else is happening? I've been seeing some stuff. Oh, Harvey Weinstein. Have you guys seen the news about Harvey Weinstein? He agreed to a tentative settlement of like $25 million. And this is crazy. This is hilarious right here. This is that Hollywood privilege, perhaps. The settlement says that he does not admit any wrongdoing and he does not even pay out of his own pocket. The insurance companies of his former employers will pay the $25 million settlement to the alleged victims. That's crazy. He can just go home like, hold on. I got to rewind here. Is Weinstein locked up still? If he's locked up, then what's the settlement for? I don't really understand. You guys fill me in on that. Is Harvey Weinstein currently locked up? If he's locked up and there's a settlement, then is he going to come home? Are charges being dropped? What's really going on? Either way it goes, he will not pay the settlement if the settlement goes through. It'll be the insurance companies of the companies that he worked for. Now, I've never heard about insurance companies paying civil lawsuit settlements of a guy like Harvey Weinstein accused of sexual assault or something like that. So this is pretty crazy, but hey, that's how these these business guys work. You know, it is what it is. Now, Bill Cosby needed to get locked up. Bill Cosby, like, I'm gonna tell you what Harvey Weinstein did. Harvey Weinstein had a casting couch, as far as I know. Harvey Weinstein did what happens in Hollywood all the time. He was coercing women to sleep with him and to do favors to get into roles. But what Bill Cosby was doing was drugging and raping women. He was a serial rapist. That's different. Now, Harvey Weinstein could have raped women, but what I heard about was that he had a casting couch where he coerced women into doing certain things. Because I'm like this, if he's locked up and getting out, then why is there a settlement? Why should that even be in the equation? Like, is he going to come home after the settlement is over? If he says in the settlement, I didn't do anything, like, is there a criminal penalty there? What's really going on? That's what I want to know. So Weinstein's out on bail. Okay. So Weinstein's not locked up and he may pay a settlement where he admits no wrongdoing. Is he going to get locked up? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. 100%. Yeah, Cosby definitely did that. There's no question. Cosby admitted to it basically on TV talking about Spanish Fly and stuff like that. It is what it is. Cuba Gooding Jr. is wild. I'll keep seeing things about him. You know, people coming out left and right, talk about, he assaulted me, this, that, and the third. I'm going to tell you what, somebody in the chat has been spamming me constantly, and what's going to happen is I'm going to just remove you from the. If you're constantly posting the same thing over and over again, that's the easy way to get removed. Call it what you want, censorship, whatever it is my rules. It's like if you go to somebody's house and they say, "Hey, take your shoes off," you can't say you're censoring my shoes. Nah, it's their rules, their house, their rules. If you like the rules, hey, come into the house, have a good time. If you don't like the rules, then you can go elsewhere, have a good time there. It is what it is. Do not spam the chat. All right. Hopefully that kind of just gets across and people just stop spamming the chat. Oh, the whole Me Too thing, that was the wave for a while. That was really cool for a while, but it went away after the whole situation with what happened with Me Too went away. Probably when Epstein came out, and then it became this whole international thing. Yeah. After that came out, it pretty much ended. It's kind of weird how that works. All right, let me read the chat here. All right, let me see. Yeah, Bill Cosby, it was hard to believe that he did what he did, but at the same time, if he has been on videotape pretty much confessing what he did, you got to, at a certain point, believe it. You can't just say, oh, nah. And then women coming forward, giving very believable testimony, going on TV and whatnot. What can you really say? And the thing about Bill Cosby is that I've been hearing about him for a long time. This ain't no new information. It ain't like all of a sudden I just heard about Bill Cosby doing this during this whole Me Too movement. Nah, I've been hearing about him since the 90s. This ain't nothing new at all. Some of his own former co-stars came out and spoke against him. I forget the man's name. One of his co-stars that played one of his daughter's boyfriends or husbands, he came out and said that a former kind of like lower level cast member saw him in the street and then just broke down, started crying, and talked about what Bill Cosby did to her. And then at the end of it, she was like, hey, do you believe me? What are you going to say? And then you not only have that story, but a bunch of other individual stories that all center around the same thing. And Bill Cosby confessed to giving women quaaludes. So what more do you want? He did that in a deposition, like on a record. So he did that. It is what it is. Let me see. Louis C.K. I heard is coming back. He's doing shows in small rooms. I heard he's coming back. Louis C.K. didn't really do anything. Like what Louis C.K. did was nasty, but it wasn't like it was without consent. Like I heard that he was doing strange things like that with consent. Now, if it's without consent, now you got a problem. If it's with consent, then it's no issue. Now that's the whole thing. That's the main thing, consent. And Harvey Weinstein had a casting couch, but did he physically attack people and rape them? That's the question. If he did that, then under the jail. If he didn't do it, then what's the penalty? I'm not really sure what the penalty for coercing a person with money is. You know, if they're underage, under the jail. Epstein, hey, I'm glad he's gone. This man was sexually trafficking underage girls. Okay. Did Harvey Weinstein do that? I'm not really sure. If he did do that, he can just go ahead and join Epstein in the skies above or below, wherever he is. Yep. Let me see. Now, the thing about Cosby that was also funny is that he was the kind of guy that will always be trying to tell, especially black comedians, how to be clean and not to be cursing and stuff like that. But here you are, a whole rapist. What's really going on? Michael Fox says you saw Louis C.K. in Norfolk. Okay. Yeah, he's coming back out for sure. Let me see. I'm reading some of the chat here. And thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Like the video if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far. I definitely appreciate you guys for that. And what else we got? There was something I wanted to talk about. Hold on. Oh, about this whole the FBI. They've confirmed that the FBI spied on the Trump campaign and they shouldn't have been doing it. All kind of falsified documents, but anybody going to jail. This is how DC operates. This is what Trump speaks about when he says a deep state swamp. They can do whatever they want. They can spy on you. They can look at your financial records without your permission, and then there's no penalty. They can do whatever they want. But that's kind of how these things operate. It's kind of how the deep state operates. They can just do what they want, when they want, and there's no recourse. This is why many of us wanted to vote for a guy like Trump, because he was not part of that. If you're part of that and that's pretty much how you're rocking, then you're not going to do anything to change it. If you come from the outside, there's a chance you may be able to change what's going on here. Obama said hope and change. At the end of it, we figured out that there was no hope, there was no change, just more of the establishment. That was an establishment talking point. A guy that says he's going to change things, but is brought in to specifically make things remain the same or change in a way that is not advantageous to Americans. It'll help other people, but not Americans. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says, are you saying that you do not believe in due process, evidence, and reasonable doubt? Because those definitely do not apply in Bill Cosby's case. And he also says, oh, that might have just been the same one. Now, I believe in due process and reasonable doubt, and there was due process. They had evidence. This man confessed in a deposition to giving women quaaludes. You have witnesses that have come forward. You have a lot of canceled checks and hush money. You got all kind of stuff. I mean, only thing you don't have is DNA. That's it. But you got witnesses, confessions. I mean, what more do you need? What more is needed? I don't really understand. You got a lot of stuff there that can convict somebody. If it was anybody else, they would have been in jail when it was talked about before. Thank you to Mike Diaz, who says from deep in the blue state, I want to thank you, ABL, for dropping these videos. Shout out from LA, bro. Hey, thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you. I know how it is in LA, man. You deep in the belly of the beast over there on the left coast. I feel for you, man. So shout out to you. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. 1000%. Let me see. All right. Oh yeah. Also, Greta Thunberg is Time Person of the Year. I'm not surprised at that at all, because they always do things like this to kind of get attention. They always have been inconsistent. They don't necessarily select good people for this. They just select who they think. I don't know. I'm not really sure how the process goes, because they've selected Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin twice back in the 40s, if I'm not mistaken. They selected Slick Willie. They selected some bad people, also some good people. They picked Trump. I think it might have been in 2016 they picked Trump. They've picked good and bad people. So this is just kind of how it operates. I don't really pay that list any mind, because it's arbitrary. And I think that people are selected just to get attention at this particular point in time, when everything is about the digital age and clicks and revenue and all this and that, watch time. They just want the attention to their magazine. It's not really about who's the best person in 2019 or not. That's just kind of how it operates. It's the same thing with these award shows, the Emmys, the Golden Globes, Grammys, or whatever it is. Most of those award shows are just bought and paid for. People like Lizzo can get on there and win awards simply because the label has paid some money to certain little organizations or to the individual people that are on the board that are able to vote on it. What was that? What was it? The Oscars? Remember the whole thing with Oscars so white? And then as a response to that, they came out and selected, what was that, Black Panther for some Oscars? It's like, come on, a Marvel movie really for Oscars? It doesn't make any sense. But that's what you got to do nowadays, because you have to appease certain groups. So is it truly about talent, or is it more about trying to push a particular narrative, trying to get attention, trying to get revenue? It's meaningless. The award shows mean nothing. The only reason to watch an award show is if you want to see some performances or your favorite actor or actress get on stage in a nice outfit. That's pretty much it. The awards don't mean anything at all anymore. That's just kind of how it is. Oh, Lizzo. Yes, Sing, Pray, Love. I'll talk about Lizzo right quick. Now, you guys may have seen this supersized young lady at the LA Lakers game. This person had on a oversized t-shirt. They're real big. I'm thinking about 300, 300 pounds easy. They have on an oversized black t-shirt, and in the back of the shirt, it's like this big cutout, this big circle, and their butt filled up most of the butt had to have been about a story tall. You understand what I'm saying? It was gigantic. it was like Rikishi from WWF/E, but I digress. And this person got up from their seat, courtside seat, so everybody could see you. You're on TV, this, that, and the third. They got up from their seat, turned around, and started twerking with a thong on, and their butt was exposed. Like, think Prince with the butt cheek chaps. You understand what I'm saying? Think about that, but like 20 times the size of Prince, basically. So people are like, hey, you can't be doing that. You got kids around. Ain't nobody trying to see that, this, that, and the third. This is not the wave. Don't put your butt away, man. We don't want to see that. And she got on TV talking about, not on TV, pardon me. She got on the Instagram live or something, crying, talking about, oh, my dad died. It's like, look, man, I understand about your loss. I feel you. But look, check it out. Anybody trying to see your butt, okay? I'm just not trying to see it. Put that away. If you're at the Met Gala, or if you're on Instagram, if you're on some place where that kind of thing is normal, then okay. But at a Lakers game, when you got little kids and stuff, what? Come on, man. Anybody trying to see that? Put your butt away. And then people want to try to defend her, talking about, oh, if she were a white woman, it wouldn't be a problem. It's like, man, look, nobody wants to see that. When them girls went to the World Series and flashed the camera, they got kicked out immediately. Immediately. They were removed from the actual place. So anybody trying to see nudity, anybody trying to see your gigantic hind parts, they're just not trying to see it. Period. It is what it is. Yeah, but that was nasty. Nobody's trying to see that. She's all mad and butthurt, part in the pun, about people's reaction to it. But, hey, if you want to be out there getting attention in a negative way like that, be prepared for negative responses. Anybody trying to really see that. But you know what? I think people like her and many others in the entertainment industry, also in DC as well, in politics, they will do anything that their overseers tell them to do. Whoever's writing the check, the record label, or whoever she's with, it's the same thing that's been going on for a long time. Lady Gaga was another one, wearing a dress made of raw meat. I mean, this has been going on for a minute. People doing outlandish things to get attention, okay? That's just kind of how it is. But how about you don't do that? I mean, you might as well go to like Chuck E. Cheese and do something like that. Don't do that in front of the youngins. Just spare us that, okay? If you want to be nasty and indecent, do it in a nasty and indecent place, not in the middle of the basketball game on TV. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, I've been to basketball games and football games. I've been to a hockey game. I've been to a pro basketball game. I've been to a pro basketball game twice, 2 or 3 times. I've been to pro basketball. Yep. And I've been to no pro football games yet, but I've been to college football, high school, and like semi-pro. Yeah. And I tell you what, one thing and baseball, of course, I've been to like minor league baseball. One thing I don't want to see at a game is some, gigantic 600-pound life person twerking. I just don't want to see it with butt naked. It is what it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Lizzo was a hot mess, but people, and then one thing about Lizzo was that people may look up to her. You got little kids looking up to her, got young girls looking up to her, like, this is what I can do to get attention, is that and the third. It's a terrible precedent. I could talk about Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim, but that's a different story, so I digress for now. I just don't like that. Yeah, they could have blurted it out. Exactly, Mike K. They could have blurted it out. They could have just put the little bar over it. Man, back in the day, TV had decency, right? If a thing like that were to happen, they had like the little blurries over it, or the black bar. Remember the black bar on TV? But now you could do whatever. You could cuss on TV, say the S word, show your butt, hind parts, do it. You could show drug use on TV. You could do whatever you want to do on TV nowadays. And then people are like, oh, well, why people cutting the cord? Nobody's trying to see all that stuff all the time on TV. You can't have your kids watch it. And it's to the point now where even if you have your kids watch some of the children's channels, you got to watch that too, because they put some weird stuff in there. 2 men kissing and stuff like that. It's like, all right, man, for kids, this is not appropriate. Simple. Let me see. Sock says NBA games, really all pro sports games, are very expensive. especially if you bring your family. People don't want to pay all of that money for that. Exactly. 1,000%. 1,000%. Chris asked me about a civil war. Will it happen in America? No civil war, because people don't want to really do that. First of all, most people are not trained to fight at all. People are just pretty much content going to their job, taking care of their kids, and just coming home, having a little bit of recreation, little R&R, little fun, Netflix, chill, movies, vacation, amusement parks. They're not really into trying to fight. So it's not going to be a civil war. Most of the arguments about politics happen online. When you're in the street, these things don't really happen, except for when people that may converge online meet in person, like at some of these events, like, Unite Their Right and stuff like that. They go there to fight. But it's almost always the same small core people. It's not the entire place. Now, some would say, well, it's not going to necessarily be the entire population that fights. I understand that, but it's still not enough to have a real civil war. And then you have the police and the military. Once they get involved, it'll be a wrap, because the average person cannot really combat that type of firepower. So it won't be a civil war, because the way society is nowadays, people ain't really trying to fight. And those that are trying to fight will be squashed instantly. It wouldn't even be a fair fight. Yeah, the army will be on the side of the people. So if you got, the SJW, the Antifa crowd, if they mobilize and try to fight us, you have the military on your side, the police on your side, all of that. Now, some would say, well, the police don't do anything when Antifa harass us. But if push come to shove, and you're talking about an actual civil war where it's fighting all the time, people are going to pretty much do what they want at that particular point in time, and they're going to pick sides. And the police and military will be on our side. That's the truth. That's the reality. Some may go to the other side, but not enough to make a difference. So if there is a civil war, it'll be over as soon as it starts. That's pretty much how I see it. What we have going on right now is an ideological online war that occasionally spills out into the world and fights happen. That's what's going on. It is what it is. Let me see. I'm reading some in the chat here. Civil unrest could be possible, but not really. People are pretty comfortable doing what they're doing. It's not really going to get to that particular level. I think what's happening right now is the extent of how bad it's going to get. People talking about Trump, and they're really upset about what's happening with the impeachment, and some want him out, some want him to stay. There may be a little squabbling over that. But what's going to happen is he may be impeached, then he won't be convicted of anything. He'll stay in office, get reelected, and then all this animosity will either ratchet up or die off. How long can you keep being angry? Years and years and years with no actual payoff? At a certain point, you pretty much just stop being angry and stop fighting, stop resisting. You just be like, all right, he's here. What am I going to do about it? Thank you, Sing Pray Love. I appreciate you. And thank you to all the new subs. I appreciate you guys for finding the channel. Hopefully you enjoy what you hear. The 10-minute war, exactly, P. Huerta. The 10-minute war, that'll pretty much be what it is. They're going to start and then get stomped out immediately. That'll pretty much be how that operates. Greta's parents need to be caged. That's hilarious. Yeah, Greta Thunberg, what did she do? Oh, yeah, she won the Time Person of the Year. Yeah, I mean, she's the new Al Gore. Al Gore's getting kind of old, kind of long in the tooth, this, that, and the third. So now they got to find somebody new to kind of like take that mantle of being the patron saint of climate change. It's like being the king and queen of England. When the reigning monarch passes away, the next person in line takes the throne. So when Al Gore kicks the bucket, retires, or whatever the case, here comes Queen Greta, Saint Greta, to come into his place and take over. She'll have her, 10,000 square foot mansion on a sprawling property with all kind of cars, riding in jets that are chartered, private jets, burning all kind of CO2, talking about you can't burn CO2 if you watch TV for more than an hour, using too much electricity. I don't care if you got an LED monitor that just sips electricity. It don't matter. Turn your lights off in your house. Don't burn candles because they take up too much CO2 as well. Just live in a stone age. Don't use technology. Be like the Amish. And that's pretty much all you got to do. Meanwhile, I'll be over here with my creature comforts that you can't have. It's kind of how they operate. Look at Al Gore's house. This man has a sprawling compound. How are you going to tell me that I am a climate change offender while you over here have this big carbon guzzling estate in cars and private jets? It's stupid. But that's where we are nowadays. Now, thank you to, shout out to Virginia, more specifically, Chesapeake, Virginia, for becoming a sanctuary city for guns. Not illegal aliens, but for guns. A gun sanctuary. Shout out to them. You know, I spent a lot of time there. I used to live in Chesapeake. Before I came out here to Tennessee, I was in Chesapeake. So shout out to them for making that be a real thing. It was a meeting with thousands of people. They came to the meeting. I'm going to play this right quick and see if you can hear it.
Was made by in Hampton Roads passed resolutions. 2 more governments in Hampton Roads passed resolutions signaling support for the Second Amendment.
Well over 1,000 people showed up to encourage the city of Chesapeake to become the first of the 7 cities to pass a resolution supporting Second Amendment rights. Notice we did not say sanctuary. There is a key difference. And Tennessee Side's Brett Hall joins us live with what council did tonight.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, in a unanimous vote, the city of Chesapeake voted to declare itself a Second Amendment constitutional city. The last minute was changed to the resolution was made by a council member who says sanctuary has a negative connotation, a connotation that the government will work not to enforce certain laws if they are passed. Mayor Rick West says that is not what he felt was right to do here. More than an hour before council chambers opened, it was clear this would be another crowd fired up.
Now, if I lived there, I'd be out there in that crowd, 1,000%. I've been there before many times, paying my taxes and whatnot at the Chesapeake City Hall, downtown on Cedar Road, off of Cedar Road. If I still lived there, I would have most certainly been in that crowd. This is America right here. People want to keep their guns. They don't want to take them away. They don't want these rules to creep in. They can't have guns. They can't have ammunition. They can't do this. They can't do that. So this is what you would be up against if there was to be some kind of civil war breakout, and it just wouldn't work for those that are going to be in opposition of us. It just ain't really going to happen the way that they would want.
Obeyed the law all my life.
This proposed ban, which is already been
laws get passed, I'm going to be a felon.
They cheered loudly as those inside spoke their minds.
We are asking this body, this council, is to stand with us in that fight.
Standing with them in the form of a resolution stating that the city of Chesapeake, one of the largest cities in the state of Virginia, does not support any new state legislation that infringes on the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. However, unlike other proposed sanctuary resolutions, Chesapeake's does not say the city pledges to not enforce any of the proposals if they one day become law. While some speakers took issue with this, a member of the Virginia Citizens Defense League says they can live with it.
Say, hey, look, we have 100 out of 100 and how many ever cities, councils, counties that are for this. So we're trying to send that message that say this is not really what Virginians want.
And while some totally disagreed,
The Second Amendment is bogus. Please get as many guns out of here as you can.
the majority, they say they won't stop.
There you go. That's how it is. So civil war, it ain't really going to go right. So hopefully they can get it to where they say sanctuary city for guns totally. But the way they got it right now, I'm with it. If you've been out there in that particular area, is getting more and more liberal. So that is a good way to just curb that whole thing from going down that direction. It's a good way to stop that encroachment. Basically, that's what's going to happen with that. So shout out to them. Chesapeake City all day long. We're talking about Jerry Nadler. Nadler, I don't know. I saw Nadler getting tapped on the shoulder to bang the gavel. It's like, who's in charge here? Are you in charge, Jerry Nadler, or is it somebody else? It seems like Nadler don't know what's going on. He's basically a puppet at this particular point in time, being told what to do by others. It's like, yo, you bang the gavel right now on cue and don't do what I tell you to do it. If he's being told what to do from the outside and he has no real agency, then it's like, what are you even doing there? You're just kind of a figurehead at this particular point in time. And Adam Schiff is a nut, lying, a liar. Same thing as who's a liar? Also, Pocahontas is a liar as well. She's been caught in quite a few lies. So it's like, what's really going on? Oh, I have one more clip for y'all that I want you to see right quick. This is my man Steve Harvey. And I'm not necessarily a big fan of Steve Harvey, but what he did here was fantastic. This is at the Miss America pageant. And he's asking Miss South Africa, who became Miss Universe eventually, about climate change. Check out his reaction to the question that he read.
Here's your question. Are leaders of today doing enough to...
Oh, hold on.
Here's your question. Are leaders of today doing enough to protect future generations from climate change? If not, what more should they be doing?
Did you see that? Hold on.
Climate change. If not, what
did you see the arrow?
They be doing.
Climate change? Nah, I don't know about that one. Arrow. He's still kind of our guy a little bit. You know, he attacked, I think, Kanye or somebody, or maybe even Trump. But he's just kind of scared to come out there and really be with us. But this right here, I roll on climate change is good. That's how that right there is how I feel about climate change. It's bogus. It's like, man, come on. Climate change, really? And then my thing about it is, what are you going to do as a human being about climate change? Are you going to change the weather? And in America, I mean, we've done everything we can do to combat climate change. We're not a dirty country. We're not a polluting country. We're very clean in the greater scheme of things. We're talking about the entire planet. China and India pollute way more than we do, but nobody cares about them. The Paris Climate Accord does not really include them. Maybe it does, but they don't do anything to improve their environment. So this little arrow right here is how I feel all day long when you're talking about climate change and what can be done, all that and the third. And the idea of climate change anyway, first it was global cooling back in the 70s. Then it became global warming in the 90s. Then there was the whole thing about acid rain and the ozone layer. Then it became climate change, because they can't say cooling, warming, ozone, acid rain, because those things fluctuate just like weather in general. It fluctuates. So they got to say climate change. If it's too hot, climate change. Too cold, climate change. Snowstorm, hurricane, heat wave, ice storm, whatever it is. Climate change is the reason why, not just simply weather that always fluctuates throughout time. So that's how I feel right there with the arrow. Yeah, that whole thing about climate, it's a racket. It's a way for people like Greta Thunberg and Al Gore to make money. That's all. If you want to impact climate change, you got to pay France or Belgium or the EU, whatever, millions of dollars. It's like, I'm not paying them no money because somebody thinks climate change is real. I'm not paying 1 red cent. How about that? That's how I feel about it. Let's get to the calls. Thank you for being here. I definitely appreciate you. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. Let me go ahead and get it rocking and rolling so you guys can go ahead and get to calling if you like to. I'd appreciate it. And let's go ahead and jump straight in. Hold on. Let me make sure that that's off. There we go. Oh, I got to sign in to my regular one. I forgot about that. Yeah. And then the tax becomes so much that people can't pay it. And then everybody's impoverished. That's what they want. That's what communists want. They want everybody to be impoverished. Rather than being able to be free and do what they want everybody to just be poor and not be able to do anything or much of anything. The answer, I don't know. I've not really, I can't say I'm concerned about the answer, quite honestly. I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you. But I believe it was a good one because she won. She became Miss Universe, and that was Miss South Africa. That was on the screen if you didn't know. She actually won the whole competition. When I was doing graphic design, I did some stuff for Miss Universe back in 2012, 2013, 2011. This was Leila Lopez from Angola. I did some stuff for her because I was working with the Angolan government doing a lot of graphic design for them. But that's a whole big long story right there. So shout out to Angola, shout out to South Africa for winning Miss Universe. Let me go and get my Skype together right quick. And there we go. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Hanging AC says, no, Ivan, hilarious. Hey, I answer all the calls, so whoever calls in, it's all good. If somebody gets to acting crazy on the phone, that's when I hang up and say, no mas. All right, calling on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
347, what's going on?
What's going on?
All right, man, what's happening? What's on your mind?
Not much as of lately. The orders have came. I got the new hats. I got official cat Keep America Reagan hat and the Trump 2020 Independence hat with the American flag on it. It looks beautiful.
Very good. Sounds good to me, man. So I'm glad everything came through for you because it was a little late, but I'm glad it arrived.
Yeah. And this hat looks the Keep America Reagan hat official one looks big, looks massive compared to the MAGA hats.
Very good.
Anyway, I want to talk about the Israel Black Israelite shooting that happened yesterday. And got a very good point. The media would never ever talk about it because it doesn't fit their agenda that only like white supremacists kill people. But this was a very racist, even more racist than white supremacists, black supremacist group called the Black Israelites killing like a kosher deli because they're basically Jewish. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like the media are only concerned with white people when they become rogue and do things that are crazy, violent, or whatever. They don't want to talk about people in general to do that because my thing is, okay, if you're gonna talk about crime and news, cover crime and news and cover it evenly, not just selectively whenever you want to fit your particular narrative. If you do cover it that way, then you're not really being serious about what you're doing. You're just trying to push narratives, and that's not right.
Right. That's basically sorry about that. Race baiting was modern day is like mental slavery. Is race baiting and it shows how dishonest the media has become over the last years.
That's right.
Especially today. Because they want to point out an agenda.
Right.
And it's frustrating because some people listen to it. We don't. Majority of Americans don't listen to it. But some people in cities do because that's how they were projected to be.
Yep.
And it kind of sucks.
Now I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway, another thing I want to point out is have you seen the Hershey rally yesterday?
Oh, you're talking about the rally in Pennsylvania you're talking about the Trump rally?
Yes.
Now, I didn't see the rally in full. I just saw some clips from it. I saw that it was a pretty active rally. A lot of folks were there, but I didn't actually hear his speech at the rally. How was that? Did you hear it?
Yes, fully. And it was great as always. And one thing I saw a statistic from one of Trump's campaign teams that 20.8% were Democrats. You heard me. 20.8% were Democrats. And let me show you why this is important, because if you get some of the moderate Democrat vote in 2020, he wins.
It's a wrap. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Automatically.
Yeah, that's a very good. That's a very good point, because people that might have been at the rally this particular time could have voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and he won last time. Right. So if he gets a big increase in people that switch to him from the Democratic side, I mean, that's tremendous. That's very big.
Right, and it shows that the Democrat Party of today doesn't focus on working class, middle low, non-political people. They're focusing on these millennial, college, F Trump this, F Trump that type of people that don't really vote at all. They don't.
Right.
Let's be real here. College students, majority of college students do not vote because some are very apolitical, or some they just don't give a damn at all. And
right.
It's backfiring on them. It's going to hurt them in 2020. It's going to hurt them in the House. In the Senate, we're going to make our Senate majority even bigger, possibly 56 majority, and get Trump's agenda even easier. Well, because without Paul Ryan in the way, and how Jim Jordan as the House Speaker.
That's right.
Things are going to be looking really good in 2020. I can't wait for November 2020.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah. Anyway, continue what I always do, listening to Trump every week, including other Republican candidates. Continue to buy Trump stuff. And I talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
My fault. I got to turn that off. But, it's not my fault. But you have to understand, when I set my settings, I can't set it to where it just automatically stays off. I got to go in the back end of Windows and change it. I can't change it natively in the application. I got to go back in the back end and change it that way. All right. Let's try this. There we go. Let's go. 520, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Mr. ABL, it's Zach. How are you doing tonight?
Everything's great. About yourself?
I'm doing all right. Hey, just started looking up on the grand old YouTubes again, and just discovered the new Discord, the YouTube Terms of Service, the new one they're fixing to implicate here in a couple of days. And I was wondering what your take on it was. In my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think it's downright appalling and borderline disgusting.
Now, I mean, there's always changes at YouTube. I never really took them in. I don't take them seriously because I feel like it's nothing that they're going to do that's really that drastic. Now, what about these changes kind of has you alarmed?
Well, a couple of the known YouTubers, so to speak, and I try not to take them too seriously, but I know that YouTube isn't necessarily immune to the liberal clown car, but Steven Crowder, for one, he I guess he likes to claim he started this whole thing, but I feel like it was a slew of people with him included in it. But he was discussing earlier today, and he's got a video up on it, and how YouTube's going to be doing a quote-unquote purge in the next couple of days. And on one hand, I'm like, and then on the other hand, I'm just like, if true, this is a very disgusting act to do.
Okay, but I mean, like, what are the? Because I keep hearing about these terms of service, but what if they really changed? Like what
I've been trying.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Some of it seems the same, and some of it is so to make a somewhat long story short from I've heard and kind of read is that they're trying to crack down on hate speech and racism.
Yeah, I mean, they always do that. That ain't nothing new. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess what the head of YouTube is saying, and I can't remember her name to save my life because it's not necessarily important to me.
Susan.
I'm sorry?
Susan Wojcicki.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess apparently Miss Susan thinks that said that they're going to be going through and demonetizing videos, looking at channels to see if they need to suspend it or delete it, and they said that in the next couple of days they're going to be, quote unquote, really cracking down on some of these channels.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I'm gonna tell you what's going to happen. They're going to target specific people. They're going to get guys like Nick Fuentes. They're going to get guys like Milo. Maybe they might get them, maybe, or other people that are kind of like not really known, that have channels that are just over the top. But Steven Crowder's, people like that, they're going to be fine because they don't really have content.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he'll say stuff like that. He may come out and be fearful of being taken off, but nah, because they've already invited him out and other YouTubers to talk about certain things. Like, if you get flown out by YouTube, they're not going to demonetize your channel. That ain't really if they demonetize you, you'll still be able to be on a platform. So I'm not really worried about that at all. I think this whole thing is targeted towards specific people that they already know they're going to do it. So they came out with some kind of terms of service to target them so they can legally go about it. But as far as me, I'm good.
Oh, I see. Okay, so perhaps this is just one of those overreactions and people are just overreacting and blowing it up, making it a bigger deal than it needs to be.
I believe so. I could be wrong, but I think that's what's happening because it's always like this. I mean, I remember there's always something. The adpocalypse happened. I mean, that was pretty bad because it changed the way money was kind of doled out. But then they made improvements to make the system better, actually, than it was before the adpocalypse. So I'm not really worried about this at all. I think we got to see if any big people get removed due to these policies. And if we don't see that, then I think it won't really be a thing to worry about at all.
I see. So, quick, just follow-up question. Do you think that the demonetization, so to speak, of some of these people's videos is the best way to go about reacting to some of the things that these people say online?
Well, it's not the best way for the creators, but it's the best way for everybody involved, and I'll explain briefly. YouTube have to please three different groups. They got to please the creators, us, me, people that put out videos. They got to please the advertisers that pay all the bills, and they got to please YouTube itself, like the employees that work there, everybody else. Well, pardon me, it ain't YouTube itself. They got to please us as the creators, the advertisers, and the actual viewers. They got to please you. You got to be satisfied. We got to be satisfied, and the bill payers got to be satisfied as well. So if you demonetize a video, it kind of is happy medium. It's kind of a compromise. The advertisers are cool with it because their ads don't get placed on that particular video. So they don't got to worry about having any kind of backlash against their particular brand. Because if you have some people that come out and say, I hate X, Y, and Z person, boycott all their videos, it's hateful, it's racist, it's that, and the third. If it does not have ads on it or certain ads on it from certain people, then there's no real problem with the video still being on YouTube as long as it does not go into the category of being illegal. And you can still make money on that video if you go do different things. You can still get some ads on it. You can get YouTube Red. You can do Super Chat and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that is.
Oh, okay. I see. Thanks for the talk today. I love your channel. Keep up the great work.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Of course. Have a fantastic day.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah. This whole thing about demonetization, I'm not really worried about it because, I mean, after the whole apocalypse, things have improved on YouTube, in my humble opinion. It was bad for a while, but we weathered the storm and we came out on the other side better. It's better now than it was before the whole thing happened. But a lot of guys that are on YouTube won't really tell you that because they're more concerned about just trying to protect their interests. And I'm understanding of that. if you have a business and you got employees, you might be kind of concerned or worried. You might want to just be a little bit more proactive. I get it, 100%. But let me get to the next call here. 916 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Brother Moses from the other side of the aisle. How's it going, ABL?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Man, sitting here, just got on this Call of Duty, man, so I'm still trying to get that gamer hashtag thing going, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm not very good at it, but it seems like something that we can do in our pastime every once in a while is, wind down with a little game in action.
That's right.
And good show, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I like the way that you're traversing a lot of these different topics. I know you can go a lot more granular on some of these points, but you just kind of hit the high level, give a little opinion piece or add some facts in there and throw it in there. But the show is definitely entertaining, so appreciate that. Even saw my guy Mo Reese in the building for a little while, and some of your mods are cool too. So shout out to everybody.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
One point, somebody in the chat was asking about the impeachment, and then I was going to get your opinion on it, but I'm not sure if people have started to kind of dive into the articles of the impeachment. What they were essentially saying is that Trump solicited the interference of a foreign government in the 2020 presidential election, and in so doing, he compromised national security and undermined the democratic process. That's what the impeachment is about. I think that it will happen in the House, that they will get enough people or enough noise around it to say, yeah, we should proceed with the impeachment, but I don't think that it'll go through the Senate. What are your thoughts there on just the actual allegation of the foreign intervention in the government? Is it double talk to say that, you know what, we're just on a witch hunt, but to not actually investigate it? And then do you actually see it resulting in either the climax, which is the removal, or him not seeking a second election, or do you just think it'll be dead on the water once it moves from the House?
Well,
and then I'm gonna drop off the line so I can hear it, or I'm gonna go on mute so I can hear it.
Okay. Well, the whole thing is bogus because at the end of the day, I mean, it was just an innocent phone call between Trump and the president of Ukraine. Now, if what he did is to be considered election interfering or something that's improper or possibly illegal, then what Joe Biden did is the same thing, or even worse. Actually worse, because Joe Biden went on TV and admitted it. He was like, he went to Ukraine and said, hey, if you don't fire the prosecutor who just happened to be investigating Burisma Holdings, which is a company that his son worked for, he was on the board of, getting paid between 50 and 80 grand US per month without speaking Ukrainian or Russian or knowing anything about the gas industry or energy at all. He just happened to be on the board getting all this kind of money in the country that's not very rich. You're over there getting paid that money. Your dad goes and says, hey, fire the prosecutor, and if you don't, you will not get this guaranteed money from the United States. And then within hours, the deed is done. So if what Trump did is somehow seen as coercion or trying to elicit interference in the election or bribery, then what Joe Biden did got to be the same thing. So if you're not trying to investigate Joe Biden, then it's bogus. It's not really a real thing. Now, we have the impeachment. It'll go through because the Democrats wanted to go through. They have the majority in the House, which means they can vote on it and have it go to the Senate. Obviously, it will not pass the Senate. You did not have one Republican that voted for the impeachment inquiry to see if you were going to impeach. There has been no new info that has been released since this whole kangaroo court of investigation, hearings, or whatever has been going on about the phone call. Therefore, you would not have one Republican that will vote to convict. And you got to have 20 of them that vote to convict. Even if there were some evidence, you would still have a hard time getting anybody to convict because people got to get reelected. If you vote to remove the president from office as a Republican, it's pretty much right for your career. It's over. Democrats, same thing. There are plenty of Democrats in Trump districts, and they may have their careers on the line. People are getting nervous. People saying, hey, man, I'm kind of a moderate. I don't really appreciate this, because they want to get reelected. So people are going to preserve their careers. And really, it's not a lot there, even if they were to see that he did something wrong, which I don't think they will in the court when it goes to the actual, conviction phase.
One follow-up question, and then I'm going to jump off. About the son. Now, I know the mixed reviews on Trump and everything, and his political prowess, and then it was a big controversy that they used to use when the election cycle was on about, him being stable enough to have the launch codes and all of that shit and to declare war or whatever it is, temporary war or whatever it was. What about the son do you see as political or presidential as to why he's a good candidate? How does what has he done so far that really aligns with your views as a conservative? You're a conservative, right? Or
yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's my last question, and then I'll be off because I know I'm in your space, so I don't want to take up too much time.
Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Now, as far as Trump Jr. is concerned, I just like his whole energy. I like what he talks about. I like what he says. I think he's making sense right now, and he's doing the work. One thing about being president is that it's not necessarily about, what are your qualifications on paper, because really there's only 3 qualifications as far as I know. You got to be 35 years old, natural born U.S. citizen, and you must have lived in U.S. for the past 14 years or for 14 years. I think it's for the past 14 years. But that's it. You could be a felon, you can be whatever, and become the president. So I think Trump Jr. has the know-how by being in the Trump family, dealing with business, you're dealing with people, you're talking to people, you're moving around, moving and shaking. Okay, you're currently involved kind of with the administration. You're out here doing campaign stops. You're doing what's necessary to be the face of the country, and you understand business to be able to make the country operate. You're going to have a good team around you. It'll probably be a lot of the same people that are in Trump staff right now, maybe some more people. You're still going to have Jared on your side. Jared is a great connection to have. You're going to have Ivanka. You're going to have the whole family there to help you, a great support system. I think he'll be the next guy. The name, Donald Trump Jr., I think he has it 100%. And I don't really see anybody on the left that could come close to him as far as the necessary juice to be able to become the next president, at least not right now. Could that change in a few years? Yes, of course it could change. Just like you had Barack Obama come out of nowhere and become the president. He pretty much stomped all over Hillary Clinton in 2008. That could happen, but as of right now, I don't see anyone that's going to be out there in 2024. So I think it'd be Donald Trump Jr. Some may say like Nikki Haley or somebody like that. That's possible, but I think Trump Jr. is going to be the guy. But thank you for your call, Moses. I definitely appreciate you, boss. But let me get to the next call here. Oh, you on the line? I'm sorry. My fault. I thought he hung up. Shout out to my man, Moses. All righty. Let me get to the next call. 313 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Technologic. How you doing this evening, man?
All right, everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, I'm trying to sound more calm because I always sound way more hyper than I really am. Hey, you mentioned something about gun control earlier. Now, I know everybody in the chat, and you probably know this, but this is common sense, but like, I'm going to give you an example. If you ever have somebody that talks about gun control that's mindless and you don't know how to reach them in a really logical way, and I fix computers and technology. I'm holding the phone of a gun crime, as a victim of a gun crime. He was shot in a really rough neighborhood, close to where I live. And I was talking to the guy. It's his brother that gave me the phone to get the files off of it because they don't have his passcode. And he died. He got shot in the head.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. It was a friend of a friend, and I just met him and found out. So while I was sitting there talking to him, I was like, man, I hate that happened. I was like, these guns, we try to watch them with the background checks. He's like, oh no. He's like, man, and I know this too, but I'd never heard anybody tell me. He's like, and we have a neighborhood called the Cooper Road over there, which is the Martin Luther King Drive and all the, where all the, very rough stuff kind of happens sometimes. And if you live here, you know where that is. And he said, no, what it is. And I've heard this before, but like I said, I've never met anybody that like directly quoted this. And they were like, no, they get them off the trains, off armored cars. And it's the young kids that break into these armored cars, and they're usually going to like military. It's not from civilian gun purchase areas usually. That, and a lot of times they'll break into people's homes. And then by then, in their streets that you can drive down where you can buy guns or people ground the serial numbers off. I worked at a car stereo place and was on my lunch and walked across the street one day. And a guy walks up with almost a brand new Glock 9, and he was telling me the price, and I know how much a Glock 9 costs. And he's like, but one thing, and he flipped it over, and the serial number was very clearly ground off. I was like, I was like, no, I don't really want anything to do with that because I know what that meant. He's like, it's probably hot or there might be something on it. I was like, no.
Right, probably got a few bodies on it. Yeah, you don't want that one.
Yeah, probably so from where I live. But the point I'm making is that these guns that are moderated with these laws, the real criminals that get groups of them. This is the whole train cars. And if you live near railroad tracks or through a major railroad throughway, these gangs get together and they break into these cars and they're going to the military, or either that or they're like going to controlled areas. So the point is these laws, all they do is hurt the people that follow laws, So I just thought, I wanted to hear your opinion on all this craziness that, I think it's insane. And I know that the shootings are terrible, but I think it's more, and I talked to this guy, I think it's more of a social problem and a values problem that we have today, personally. People don't value life anymore, and, I don't know these kids.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. It's definitely a social problem, a values problem. People are just kind of out here lost, roaming around. They're like zombies. They have no real direction. There's no dads anymore. You got a bunch of women halfway raising the kids. A lot of times it's the grandma raising the kids. Drugs are a problem all over the place. You got babies being born to drugs, being hooked on drugs. It's just too many things that are going on that are distracting people away from a positive way of living, no real guidance. So they go out there in the street and just do whatever they want, unsupervised. You got kids that are out here 8, 9 years old, no parents that can just roam the streets, do whatever they want to do. So a lot of these gangbangers are like kids, 11, 12 years old out here with guns. That's what's happening right now. People don't want to talk about that. They think that it's something else, but it's really just about kids not being raised properly. Even if you have poverty, that's no excuse really to not raise your kids properly. Back in the day when you had poverty, like my parents grew up in extreme poverty. I'm talking about like Appalachia.
Mine too.
Yeah, Appalachia, barely had running water, outdoor plumbing, that type of thing. But it didn't grow up to be, it wasn't no game banging or nothing like that going on.
Couldn't eat.
couldn't eat, no food. It's like, to get like a sweet drink was a luxury. You might have a soda on a Sunday if you're lucky. Beyond that, it's water from the well, that type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I even seen my mother where she grew up. I went out to the uncle that took care of her. I saw the well. It's covered up by then, but when she was a kid, she lived on this farm out in the middle of Mississippi. They were dirt poor. And she went out in the field and she picked cotton. And that's what the whole family did, 11 brothers and sisters. Mom and daddy died when she was very, very young. And, like I said, all this stuff that these people talk about, and then they want to increase, and I'm the most pro, woman person you'll ever meet, but like the feminism, the modern feminism, they want to push this when really I think a lot of the little kids need stronger male role models that are, that have character and integrity. I think that's where that's missing. And I think that's why you got this femininity, which, emotions, along with a male child that grows up without a father, it can be a bad combination.
That's right. That's the main thing going on now. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like that where you go up, but these kids around here, the single mothers raise them up. They're chaotic. I've worked around a lot of them, and I've heard they express themselves. They're very open, about the way they feel about the world. And sometimes you just are left there like, oh my God, you tell your little kid this, I grew up around that, but anyway, I didn't want to keep up a whole bunch of your time. But if you come across one of these gun grabbers, explain to them the guns, the laws that you're talking about. Don't touch the gun. They're not even in the same category. You cannot control stuff that's usurping the laws. That's laws only affect law abiders. But anyway, you just talked about it, and it just made me think. Because I've got this phone, I got to get undone for this guy, and it was just really sad, and it made me think. So, but I love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. I sent you an email to say hello the other day. So anyway, peace out, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. Everybody's welcome. The phone lines are open, and I'm going to try to get a few more people in here. Pardon me. Let's go. Hold on. I'm going to try to get to some calls. Hold on. Super chats. I'm going to read those right quick. No, matter of fact, okay. Let's get to this call, then super chats, and then we keep rocking. 423, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Zachary Clark, how are you doing, ABL?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain.
Can't complain. Southwest Virginia, there was a bit snow here, but we're doing all right.
Yeah, it snowed here a little bit too, but it's like a little dust thing. It didn't really even get on the road, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, mainly one of the reasons, main reason why I wanted to call tonight, because the last time I called you was November 13th, and I've spent the last 28, 29 days invoked and watching all of these impeachment inquiry hearings. And let me tell you, it was something else. And I immersed in the articles of impeachment, and it is very weird about this whole sham of impeachment, because last time I talked to you, they were all in on a quid pro quo narrative. Then around the last bit of it, they thought, well, quid pro quo wasn't working, so we're going to see if the people accept he committed bribery, because that's actually a Article 2, Section 4 constitutional charge that the president could be impeached for. So they tried for bribery. Well, that didn't work. So when you read the articles of impeachment, they haven't charged him with treason. I thought, honestly, that they were going to go for treason because somebody else was calling about impeachment before I did, for that he withheld or he held hostage our national security for his own personal or political benefit, which to me is another word for treason. And yet they didn't charge him with that. They didn't charge him with bribery. They had two sham charges against him: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Well, obstruction of these two articles of impeachment, the way I've read it, are so vague and are so vague to the point that, by their standards, every single president that preceded Trump would be impeached under these articles.
That's right. Exactly. That was my whole thing. It's like they're trying to get him on any vague thing they can, because the intention from the very beginning was to be successful at reaching the impeachment. That's all. That's all that it was. It's not really about trying to get some justice or anything like that. It's about trying to get him out of office. So they can get him on anything. It could be walking the dog improperly in the street. They'll do it.
And basically the thing that infuriates me is the whole obstruction of Congress, because basically what they're saying Trump's crime is he took us to court a lot. He took the legislative branch to court a whole lot of times, and we don't like that. Well, that's what he's obliged to do. The Constitution basically is structured where the executive and legislative are independent of each other, and there are times where they disagree with each other. The president disagrees with the legislature disagrees with the president. Okay, your guys will meet my guys at court. That's what it's supposed to be structured on.
Exactly, 100% correct.
I mean, the reason, like, the whole point of it also is to derail his chances of a potential reelection come next year. And the telling thing, the fact that it wasn't working, was about an hour after announcing the two articles of impeachment, Nancy Pelosi came out and said, well, oh, by the way, the USMCA, it's a go for me. It's 99% the same as Trump originally had it, but I'll claim it as a Democratic win.
Right. I saw that timing, because it's like, okay, you want to do this whole impeachment thing, and then you want to do that. So it was like, look what we're doing. We're actually getting stuff done. It's like, no, that's been on your desk for a long time. Throughout this whole process of trying to get the president impeached, it's been right there on your desk. All you got to do is sign off on it, and that's it. But you want to do that until after you announce articles of impeachment as if it's some kind of victory, but it's not a victory. You just really, quite frankly, late to sign the document.
The weird thing, though, I honestly thought about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said that after the impeachment hearings, after the impeachment trial, it would probably be forced to come to a vote. I thought that would be around April or probably mid-June of next year. But the fact that she has agreed to this so quickly than I anticipated, and this was a week after a monumental jobs report, approval ratings of President Trump going up nationally, whether it's at 52% or around 45 or 46%, it doesn't matter. It's really going up. And he's beating top-tier Democrats in key states like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, states that Democrats absolutely needs to win in order to have any chance at beating him in come 2020. And when Nancy Pelosi saw this, and she saw the sham of evidence and the lack of evidence he has for a potential successful impeachment, she came to the conclusion, okay, it probably would have been better if his numbers went down, and then I could have withheld USMCA from him, but it's getting so bad, I have no choice. I need to give these Trump district Democrats something to vote for. So, hey, I'm going for the USMCA.
That's right. That's right.
Well, basically, that's all I wanted to say. And appreciate everything you do, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right. Great call. A lot of fantastic points that were made there. And shout out to him for sitting through all that. I mean, I couldn't sit through all of it. I've watched quite a few hours, I would say, maybe minutes of the impeachment hearings or the impeachment inquiry hearings, but I can't really sit and watch all. It just becomes kind of monotonous. But let me get to my next call. Let's go. Okay, hold on here. 508, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello. I love the show tonight. And did you hear about Massachusetts, that EBT card abuse, about the 18 times an EBT card from Massachusetts were used in Hawaii?
I did hear about that. Yeah, it was used at like some kind of resort or something in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But see, that right there, that lets us know that this whole thing of people talking about, oh, they need the welfare benefits and people are going to starve to death, obviously is being abused and not being used by those that actually need it. So maybe you got to do a little bit of welfare reform to tighten that up, so you can't just have people go on vacations with food stamps.
And Massachusetts decided to ban menthol cigarettes and flavored tobacco as of June. You think that's communism or what? I
mean, it's getting closer to it. It's getting closer to it. It's like, okay, you can have here's your ration. Here's what you can have, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because in Massachusetts, they're going to lose tax money on the menthol cigarettes alone and the flavored tobacco.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But now, the governor was embarrassed because the food stamp abuse was on the national news.
I mean, hey, when you do something like that, when you don't have a tight rein over your program, that's what's going to happen. I mean, the only way you can use food stamps over in Hawaii is if you have really lax things you can use your food stamps on. Like I know in California, or what I heard about California, is that you can buy hair weave and stuff like that with your EBT card. So you got to just tighten up what you can actually purchase. You should just be able to purchase food items from a particular kind of grocery store, and that's it. And not certain kinds of food with your EBT card. Because if you want to get free things from the government, it should be limited. And if you want to get whatever you want, then go out there, work, make your money, and buy whatever you want.
In Massachusetts, some stores have like already prepared food that you can use your EBT card on, like fried chicken already made.
Wow.
And they charge it as food.
So you're able to get like hot meals already ready, like you get a personal chef on the EBT card, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. And some people are saying, oh, Trump's going to take away food stamps and SSI and Section 8. One of my neighbors was scared. Oh, if you support Trump, he's going to take all those away.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, it's not about taking it away. It's about just tightening it up. Because some people need those things. If you're disabled, if you're an elderly person or something like that, I get it. If you get into a tough patch for a brief period of time, maybe. But if you're just a regular person living on that, no desire to work, able-bodied, you going to Hawaii on vacations, buying
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, doing whatever you want to do, that's not right, because where's my vacation stipend? I want to have some money to go to a vacation and spend whatever I want on a taxpayer's dime. If I can't get that, then they shouldn't have it either. This should be for emergency situations, or for somebody that's really in a bad situation where they're about to be homeless or starving, not for people just to go and gallivant around the world. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Well, the Massachusetts representative, China something, said that it was embarrassing that the DTA in Massachusetts didn't notice all 18 different times that EBT cards were used in places outside of Mass.
Yeah, I mean, it should be able to track it. So, I mean, if you are able to track that usage, then you got to do something about it. Or maybe they're tracking it and kind of ignoring it, and it wasn't a problem until they reached the national news. Now they want to do something and try to cover up their tracks.
Because a lot of people are upset in Massachusetts because it was shared on social media. That's how the governor was embarrassed, more or less, and the state senate.
Right, yeah. And of course they're going to be embarrassed. Something like that happens, but it's their own fault. You got to be able to, have a tight rein over that, and that's pretty much how that works.
Because I know a lot of people that don't like that. Oh, they're taking food. They're going to start taking food stamps away.
Well, it's going to have to eventually happen where it gets regulated, not to be taken away, but to be regulated. People just can't live on that stuff forever. But that's what the Democratic Party does. You're talking about communism. You're talking about communism.
Massachusetts is a Democrat state, so
yeah, that's what they do though, and that's kind of like an intro to communism. They give you all these things, make you comfortable, and then they can control you that way. They can give it to you, they can take it away, they can ration it out, and you're not really able to go out there and make other money. They got these really high taxes sometimes. They tax somebody totally out of all their, how I call it, disposable income. All of it goes to the state, so then they rely upon the state, and the state gives them whatever they need, whatever they want. And if anybody comes along and says, hey, that shouldn't be the way things operate, the state shouldn't be funding your lifestyle, then they're going to be against it because they've been raised, maybe even their whole life, depending upon the government. That's kind of how they trap you, or many people, into voting for the Democratic Party. And people are starting to wake up and walk away from that.
But in Bristol County, Trump got the most votes in Massachusetts in 2016.
Right. Well, that's a good sign. Hopefully that can kind of continue throughout the state.
And I know a girl in New York. She was mad because food stamps closed her case because she didn't want to go to the job fair. They told her to work for her check.
Oh man, that's crazy. Now that's just is not right. It's like, okay, here's a job fair. You want a job? You want to work for yourself? Here. But then again, it's like, if people are given things with no real requirement to get it, then they're not going to want to work to go out there and get it because they got it without working. So why work? And it's like I said, it's a way to kind of indoctrinate people into this whole way of living. But thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Hey, you're welcome. You think most states up in the East Coast are going to turn red next year?
I don't know about that one. I think that there may be more people that vote in those states for the Republican Party, but I don't know about turning red. That might be kind of a hard task, but it's possible. But I don't really see that happening for most states up there. But you will have more people that vote red in those states than it happened in 2016.
Because I was a Democrat, but I jumped to the Independent Party to be independent because the Democrats are like want to turn everything into Venezuela.
Right. I'm with you, man. So I think there will be a change, but I'm not really sure about everybody. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Don't be afraid to call. Let's get to the next call. Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting on the for the news to report the New Jersey shooting.
You still waiting on that one, huh? Have they not talked about it yet?
Still waiting on it.
Well, don't hold your breath. Grab a Snickers because you're gonna be there for a while.
Dang, man. Dang. It's just, it reminds me of, there was a shooting a long time ago where it was a father and a son that broke out shooting. And it was funny because I remember this clearly that a lot of people thought that it was just a white father and a white son that was going on a shooting spree. But when the news came out that it was a black father and a black son, it went silent.
Of course, because they can't push the narrative they want to push. Right when this hit, and I'm seeing it go around, I'm like, this is going to be a problem. White supremacists, maybe what's happening. But then it came out, Black Hebrew Israelite. You got all kind of things going on there. You got different religions going on. You got black folks. You got, fight the power against the government. No. We can't talk about that. It's totally vanished. But Charlottesville is a topic every day. They talk about that all the time. And that's not even a good example of white supremacy. You have a white guy that killed a white woman. I don't understand. That doesn't make it. It's just white on white violence. That's not a white guy killing a black person or something like that. But in this case, you have two black folks that killed 3 Jews targeted in their store, had a bomb in a U-Haul truck. What's going on?
Yeah, and the thing is that with the Charlottesville, only one person died. And it seemed like that one person wasn't even targeted. It's just a random person driving the car into the crowd. While you have this situation where it seems very targeted. That they picked out a Jewish deli, came out guns blazing.
Yes, I mean I saw the video of them going into the spot, and it's clear they make a beeline straight. They go straight for the store with guns out, and they're shooting. So there's no mistake like, we were just, it was a shootout. People got hit, innocent bystanders. Nah, they shot at a specific place. Like you said, the guy in Charlottesville he just drove forward. People got hit by the car, legs broken and stuff like that. One person died. It was not targeted to one particular individual for a particular reason, as far as I know. But that case in Jersey City was. But the news will totally ignore it because, again, no white guys involved. Can't blame them, so you can't even really talk about it. It's a shame.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to charge it as a hate crime.
I mean, they might, but see, the thing about it is they're dead, so I'm not really sure how that's going to,
Oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about that part. So anyway, and on that on the impeachment thing, it's funny how they keep saying that, look at all of these evidence, but they forgot one key evidence, which is the witness, the whistleblower. Still haven't shown that person, still haven't testified, and all of it is hearsay. What's the point when it's just hearsay?
That's a very good question, and you're right. They have not talked about the whistleblower at all. They've not tried them out yet. That's a good. I almost forgot about that part. I mean, that's pretty important to, It's like, okay, this whole thing came about because of the whistleblower, and they're still a mystery person. It's not even illegal to put their name out there, but for some reason, I mean, we don't know who that person is yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, so did you hear what's happening to Nike?
No, what happened?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
So I heard, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So I heard about a report that with Nike that the women are protesting Nike for unfair pay and discrimination and other unequal rights and stuff.
Well, hey, so all that woke stuff kind of going out the window right now, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for one, the woke stuff has long been out the window when you talk about the operation and how they're getting their workers from China or something like that.
All over the world, Bangladesh, all kind of poor countries that they wanted to go and basically exploit.
Yeah, but yet though you have these woke people that going out and complaining about, oh, look at America treating people bad, but yet though don't even look at Nike at all.
Right. That's a very, very good point you made there. Yeah, they just kind of totally get ignored. Same thing with Apple too. I mean, their whole workforce is in China. Everybody that assembles their products, they got Foxconn, 1 million employees over there. They got suicide nets on the factories. Oh no, it's all good. I got my iPhone. It's fine. There's no problem. That's very interesting how that works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so another so one thing I want to last thing I want to talk about is um, a news article from National Review where they talk about the HBCUs. Do you hear about the report recently about HBCUs receiving at least $100 billion, I think, from or $100 million from Congress? No, the Senate. The Senate.
Now, I don't know about the exact amount of money, but I did hear about the HBCUs getting a whole big heap of money to make sure that they're afloat. I did hear about that, and for some reason, the news didn't really run with it. I wonder why the news would not talk about the president helping out black colleges that need the money. I mean, quite frankly, they need the money. A lot of them are kind of going under. I don't know where the alumni are or anybody else. Barack Obama should have been heading up some kind of organization to help them. He should have done that in his presidency, but he didn't. Here comes Donald Trump helping out the black colleges. Oh, but he's racist. Okay, I see.
Yeah, yeah. But what the National Review was,
You breaking up there, boss?
what they were talking about is why. Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So they took a different angle on it. So what they were talking about is why are you giving failing institutions money?
Oh.
Yeah, and there's no accountability.
Now,
So,
who said this? What who said that?
National Review.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I understand where they're coming from, and this is me coming from an HBCU. And so with HBCUs, it's not the teaching that is the issue. It's the finances and the outside things, the other part of the office that runs the logistics of the school. That's the issue. Now, the only issues, as far as teaching, the only issues that we had are foreign professors that we can't, especially if they're teaching an English class.
That's going to be a problem.
But as far as the whole logistics or running the actual school, especially with the finance, that's the issue that comes in. I remember my senior year where a bunch of freshmen started protesting because how late the financial aid was coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we talked to a church member where the wife was the accountant for Howard University. Only lasted for 6 months because what Howard University was doing, she said, "Nah, y'all gonna get me in trouble the way that you were reporting your finances." So she quickly got out of that. So I understand where they're coming from. That if there's no accountability, then why are you continuing giving money? You're just throwing money away where that money could go to something else.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I gotta say. And thanks for taking my call.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you as always.
All right, then. Bye.
Peace. All right. Great call from my man Victor. Definitely appreciate him for the call. And you guys out there, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. All righty. Let's get to my next one here. 817, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing, man? It's Adam.
All righty, man. Everything's great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's glad to talk to you. I'm a big fan of your work. Keep doing what you're doing. And I just wanted to run a little hypothetical situation through to you and get your perspective on it and see what you would think. I don't know if you've heard about I'm sure you have, what's happened back in the past in Zimbabwe and South Africa with the kind of white flight thing going on and the land appropriations and people getting the white farmers getting their land stolen and the rapes and the murders and all that stuff. I just was wondering if, hypothetically, say something like that was to, because the tensions here in the U.S. and a lot of the Western countries against white people, a lot of white hate and resentment and stuff going on. But what would you think if something like that were to happen here in the U.S., where, most white people in mass were just to leave, go to Canada, move out of the country, and like a massive white flight all of a sudden was to take place in the U.S. and within a couple of years you have no white people left. What would you think about that, and how would you react to that or feel about that?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question. First of all, I don't think it will actually happen, but let's just say it were to happen. I think there'd definitely be some changes for sure. And the biggest thing would be you have a population decrease, because they're the majority, about 65% of the population. So if you have over half the population just up and leave, that'd be a problem. People that run institutions, organizations, CEOs of companies, people that found companies, how would you replace these people? It'd be a problem just from the population loss, not necessarily because of the race. And then you're going to have people that come in to replace them. You're going to have foreign language speakers. That's going to be a problem. You're going to have the Tower of Babel type situation happening. And I don't think anybody really wants that to go on. It'd definitely be an issue for sure. So because the main thing would be, who do you replace these people with that are going to have, communities going to go, people that understand how to do industry. It's the same thing that happened. I forget what country that was. It might have been, I'm not going to just speculate because I forgot where it was. But you had the white Europeans that were there in the African country running the railroad system. But the Africans that were there did not know how to operate the system. So when the Europeans left, it just went to waste. And then the Chinese come in.
Shut down.
It shut down, yeah, because nobody had the knowledge how to do it. You see what I'm saying? Too many of us don't want to participate in civil service. A lot of us do, but will it be enough to make up the shortage? Because it's only 13% black folks, and then you got like 20% Hispanic. So you still got things that got to get done every day. Who's going to jump in and take up the shortage is going to be a problem, mainly because of the population loss, but also people that have skilled trades. Who's going to replace them?
Yeah, exactly. I heard of a story over in Zimbabwe where they pretty aggressively, took over the land that the white farmers that have, lived there for generations have been farming. And the same kind of thing that they've been trying to do in South Africa. And over time, it caused a great famine because a lot of the farm workers there that were white took off and left the land, and the black farmers were supposed to come in and, take their place. And most of them did not have the knowledge and skills or the expertise to run an operation of that size. And so you had people starving after a number of years. After a long time, the economy was going down, the amount of food available for everybody, because people say that's the breadbasket of the continent. They produce so much food in South Africa and Zimbabwe that they were able to distribute, amongst all the other African countries. And now, from what I've heard, they're begging these white farmers to come back and take over their land again and start farming again, so their economy can get back up and the food supply can come back up. And I see a lot of these people today that are calling for that. Even here in America, they want, this place would be so much better without all these racist whites and things like that. And I just I try to imagine a hypothetical situation like that, and I see this country like turning into a third world country almost if that were to happen, And I think if more people of color, Hispanics, Muslims, anybody would realize that, I think it would help them get over all that hatred or animosity or whatever they have towards white people and the things that have happened in the past or things like that, and realize that we all just need to work together to overcome the issues and whatever, personal or historic issues they may have can be put aside to move on to the future and things like that. But, you just don't hear that many people talking about it from that perspective. And since I value your opinion, I love the way your perspective is on things and how you approach things honestly and unbiased. I wanted to see from a black man what they would think if something like that were to happen here in the United States or in their hometown, or how would they react? Would they try to stick around and work it out and make the best of it, or they want to take off and go somewhere else too? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is you got to have people that are going to be in the country that have the skills and trade. I think one thing people say, people kind of get this topic kind of misconstrued. They want to have immigration be largely white based, but that shouldn't be what it is. The immigration, if you're going to have immigration, it should be merit based. Now, if it just so happens to be where it's like 80-90% white, then so be it. If that's not the case, then so be it. It shouldn't be a race specific thing, because you want the best of the best, regardless of who they are, where they come from. It could be doctors, engineers, lawyers, whatever it is. You got to have the best people, period. It doesn't matter. And in the case of South Africa, the best people that were able to farm just happened to be the white people. Now, some would say it's for a particular reason, genetic or whatever. I won't even go down that road. I'm just talking about those that are there. If you're able to do the job, you continue to do the job. It shouldn't be a racist thing like, okay, you're white, get away from here. Think about who's going to fill that particular person's spot. It's not like in South Africa where you have like a whole bunch of people that are trying to just take over the farm and they have the skills and the know-how. This is a brainless thing. You just take somebody off the land that has the skill. Bring in skilled people and skilled tradesmen, regardless of who they are or whatever it is, if you're going to have immigration. And I think if you did things like that, rather than 70% from Central America, half of whom don't have any kind of skills or education, then you'd be better off as a country.
Yeah, exactly. And what would you think about if we were to say the country was to put a I can't remember the word, like basically put a halt on immigration. They say like 200,000 people or so around that a year leave the country, and we could take in people based on merit, another 200,000 a year to replace that, but there was no net, it stayed at a net zero where there was no increase of population due to migration. What would you think about something like that going on for 5 or 10 years or something like that? Do you think that would be a good thing for the country, or do you think that would have a negative impact?
Well, it depends on the situation. It depends on how many people that we need. And it also depends upon how many people that are out there who are skilled at what they do. Because one thing about immigration is that it's competitive. People come from other countries and they go to other places aside from the U.S. They go to, they go to parts of Asia like Malaysia, Indonesia. They go to Europe, UK, France, Germany, Australia, South Africa. They go to other places where they maybe are English speaking, or, they speak Mandarin or something, or French, to go and become somebody. So you want to get the best of the best and not lose out to another country that would get them instead. Just like Elon Musk. You don't want Elon Musk to be in Canada or Australia or in South Africa, so you want him to be here. Steve Jobs, same way. You don't want Steve Jobs to be in Syria. You want him to be here in the States. So if you can have it to be a number where it makes sense, so where you can actually benefit from the immigration, then I'm with it. I don't know what the number is, but if we can get it to that particular number, then I'm good with that. But if it's going to be a detriment to where we start to lose out on certain things in our competitive edge, then I would be against it. But it's been a great conversation. But I got to get to a few more calls because I got a lot of calls on the line.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice talking to you, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you.
All
right. Shout out to the caller. But yeah, immigration, no race-based immigration. Some people are going to say, oh, we got to have all white. If you're going to have, some people say you got to have, not the caller, because he was cool. Some people say you got to have white only immigration, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, in their mind, they think that if you have whites that immigrate, they're going to be Christian and they'll be conservative voting. But no, go to Europe, UK, 80% white. So how does Sadiq Khan get there? What's going on? See, at a certain point, you got to look at Europe for what it is and what's happening there and be honest. Same thing with Africa, same thing with Asia, whatever. Have it be merit-based regardless of what their color is and get the best of the best people. And like I said, not 70% Central America that chain migrating, hopping the border. No. Merit-based legal immigration. That should be what it is. And we could all be on the same page and get the best of the best from all over the world and not have them go to competing countries and defeat us from over there rather than being here and helping us go forward in the world. It's simple. But let me get to a few more calls. Well, quite a few more. We got an hour left. 502, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Tim from Kentucky.
All righty, Tim. What's going on?
Oh, not much. How about yourself? I appreciate what you do and your show and everything.
Everything's good, man. Just hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, I've just got a few questions. First of all, I was wanting to know why your audience is worried so much about gay people, because I'm a gay person in the South, and I'm full-fledged Republican. Now, when I first started voting, I was Democrat, but that was before they become liberal and free with everybody's money. But and then the next question I've got is, what did Donald Trump do to be impeached? What crime did he commit?
Okay. Now, for your first question, I'm not really sure who's worried about that. I think some people may come in here and try to kind of troll about the gay question, but I think most people don't really care, quite frankly. People that I talk to out here that I've met in person or talk to online, they're not really worried about that. They're more worried about political issues and not so much personal issues. But some people, they got personal issues, and that's on them. They can have that.
I mean, I mean, the way I'm reading it online, there's just a few on there. It's not all of them. But every time they talk about the left, they say they're gay. Well, not all people is on the left. Not all gay people's on the left.
I think one thing that the left does is they push the crazy stuff, like, drag queen story time. The left is doing that. You got these men, a lot of them are sex offenders out here, in front of children, dressed inappropriately, flashing little kids. I think that's what the left does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Right.
That's wrong. I agree with you 100% on that. But I am a very well respected man in the South. Well, not real far south, but Kentucky, it's a southern state.
Yeah, that's the South, absolutely.
Yeah. And I voted for Democrats back when I first started voting, but that was before they got all crazy and silly and trying to give everything away for free and let all these illegals come in. I don't have a thing wrong with people coming into our country if they do it the right way.
Right.
And they come over here and they get their job and they pay taxes just like we do.
Right.
But they work for cash money and send most of that cash money back home to try to help other people to come in illegally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's wrong, and I don't agree with all that. And if you ain't got a driver's license, you shouldn't be able to vote. If you're not a citizen, you shouldn't be able to vote. But them leftists, they're wanting them to vote whether they're legal or not.
Right.
And that's just so they can get the votes to try to win.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I don't understand all that. But either way, and then the next question was, what did Donald Trump's crime for him to be impeached?
Well, that's a good question. If you ask me, he didn't do anything, but the left, they say, according to the articles, they said that the whole phone call with Ukraine, that it was improper and he was trying to get them to help him with the 2020 election by getting quote unquote dirt on Joe Biden. Although the dirt was already out there, everybody already knew what he did. He was just saying, hey, there's some corruption happening. Check it out in your country. It wasn't about anywhere else. It's about your country. You're the anti-corruption president that has been elected. Go ahead and see what's going on with that corruption. Check it out. That's it. And they want to just use that to try and finagle their way into an impeachment to make Donald Trump look bad because they know they don't have anybody on their side that can beat him fair and square. So it's not really a real thing. It's just a matter of a strategy they're using to try and, quite frankly, suppress the vote.
Right. Well, see, I don't understand that because the presidents are supposed to be talking to other countries' presidents and leaders, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
He's supposed to be trying to work with them, and that's all he was doing is trying to work with them. You know, they try to pull up dirt on the Republicans, so why can't he try to pull up dirt on them?
Hey,
you know, fair about is turn play, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, just like with Joe Biden, you know, this whole thing with the prosecutor talking about, oh, fire the prosecutor or you won't get this money, when the prosecutor was trying to investigate the company that was paying his son between 50 and 80 grand a month. Okay, that's fine according to them, but Donald Trump having a phone call with the president of Ukraine that was really innocent, that's not. It's really bogus. It's just a way for them to try and defeat him through a different method other than fair and square at the, you know, at the ballot box.
Right. Well, between me and you and the people that's listening online now, I don't think there's nobody in the United States that's going to beat Trump in 2020 if he runs, if he sticks in there and runs again. And even if they impeach him, they still won't be able to remove him from office.
That's right.
Because if they do, then he'll just run 2020 and win again. Mm-hmm. It's nobody out there that can beat him. All he's doing is what he promised people that he would do when he got elected. He's building a wall. He's stopping illegal immigration. He's got unemployment rate down to the all-time low for everybody, including African American people.
Yep.
And he's trying to deport the illegal aliens, which now they come up with sanctuary cities where I don't know where they get that from. If they want to hide from their government, then they ought to run to somewhere else. You know, if I'm trying to hide from my government, I'm not going to go to Mexico. They'll kill me down there.
Right.
If I go to Korea, they'll kill me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stay in no other country. You go into another country, you can stay there for a little while, and then you got to come home.
Right.
Well, they come over here, they get a green card or whatever, visa, work visa, whatever. When that runs out, they're supposed to go back home. Because it is a privilege, not a right.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line, so I'm going to get to a few more. I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
That's fine. I just wanted to let you know all that, and I appreciate your show, and you keep up doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right. Super chats on deck. Let me read them right quick. Then I'm going to get to the next call. Who do we have? Thank you to Brother Throat Puncher who says, big up, send another black conservative YouTuber called King Face. Bring the realness back to the black community. Let the 34% of the black votes get bigger. Hey, I've met King Face many times. Great guy. You know, and I like what he's doing. He's bringing it straight to the hood, coming from the ex-gang member perspective. You know, very, very good impact that he's having. Really big reach. So shout out to him. And we're going to make sure that it gets bigger. You're going to see, it's going to surprise people. In 2020, the black vote for Trump, it may not be 34%, but check it out. Last time in 2016, the polls were saying 16% black support for Trump. And that translated to about 8% at the poll, thereabout. So if you're going by the same math, 16 to 8, it should be 34 to 16, which is humongous. That's double. You know, that's a 100% increase. I mean, who else is going to have that kind of rise in their voting? Nobody but us. It's going to be big. I can't wait until 2020. That's going to be, oh my goodness, that's going to be the time of our lives right there. Just you wait. And thank you for the donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Mandatory Carey, who says at work can't stay and play, but keep fighting, and I'll circle back later. I thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Molly Smile for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Mala Bell, who says, hello, sweet man, fighting for the cause. Much respect. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Great Informer, who says, ABL, get on Parler. It's free speech platform. I check it out. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Game Cooker US Rocks VR, who says, I like you discussing multiple topics. Good show. I appreciate that. I try to keep it varied, talk about a few different things. Shout out to Brazilian American Patriotic Soldier, who says, amazing drop in crime since Brazil new gun laws. Hey, there you go. Shout out to Jair Bolsonaro, the new president, and thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Matthew says, Don wiped hands on X, put in man's face, sued. I don't know anything about that, but we'll see what happens. That'll probably come out when you're talking about him running for president. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Frank G, who says, discovered your channel today. Glad I did. I was apolitical until 2 years ago. I was defending free speech, and I was called a Nazi. Wow. And I'm an Asian man. And they'll call anybody, they'll call me a white supremacist. I mean, these words have no meaning anymore. Basically, if I disagree with you, that means you're a Nazi. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Tony Smith, who says, are you saying that you do not believe in due process? Oh, I already read that one. Okay. Thank you for all your donations on Super Chat. I appreciate you guys. Let me get to the next call. All right, calling on line 677. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's Ivan. Hey, what about the caller that called before? Not this one, the one that called previous. They was calling me that I'm ignorant, and I think he told me I was ignorant one time.
Oh, I don't know you talk. I don't know what's going. You know.
Well, I think he calls all the time. I don't know if his name is. I think Mike, something like that. Well, that he called me ignorant. So the impeachment thing, you keep saying that he didn't do anything. That's what all your callers keep saying they didn't do anything. When a person, if he didn't do anything, right? Why he blocked people from testifying?
I don't know why he did it.
So but there gotta be. If the people that were on the call, those people that were on the call, right? If it's an innocent call, why you block him from testifying? And those who testify, they testify against the administration will. That's why they left the administration.
Well, do you know why he did that?
Well, the
question is, sir. The question is, do you know why he did that? Yes or no?
Because he didn't want them to tell exactly what happened.
Now, where'd you get that from? Who said that?
Well, if the police is involved in some investigation and the people refuse to testify, don't you think that's...
The question was, where'd you get that? Who said that?
Well, he refused those people from testifying, so that means it's a problem, right?
So is that your opinion?
No, that's not my opinion. That's
so where'd you get it from? Hold on, sir. If it's not your... Sir, listen to me. If it's not your opinion, who said it? Where'd you get it from?
The Trump administration said it.
Oh, so they said...
We weren't allowed to testify. That's what they said.
Okay, so what did the Trump administration say?
They said we won't cooperate with them. We won't cooperate with the Democrat because this is a hoax. That's what they said. This is some sort of scam. It's a hoax. That's what Trump was saying, right?
Okay, so they didn't cooperate because it's fake. It's a hoax. Okay.
No. You can't just say you don't collaborate. It's a hoax.
Why not?
Because it's a congressional. It's Congress. Congress is one of the powers. You got three powers. You do judicial system. You got the legislative system, that is Congress, and you got the executive branch, that is the White House. So why one power is telling you, hey man, we want you to release some documentation. We want these people that were on the call to testify to make sure that you're clear, right? And then you say no, I don't want them to testify. You block them to testify. You don't release any of the documentation to collaborate with the investigation. That means you're hiding something.
That's your opinion. That's fine. But there's no law that says that you must do you must cooperate, sir. I'm talking right now. There's a law that says that you must cooperate all the time in every situation. If there's a law that says you must do it, then you got to do it. If there's no law, then you don't have to do it. It's just a matter of your opinion about that. That's all.
Oh, so you don't have, okay, read the Constitution, Article 2. So now, second, so you don't have to do it. So that means Hillary didn't have to testify for Benghazi. She didn't have to testify when because of the emails, and the Obama administration, Eric Holder, and the people in the DOJ did not have to testify because Fast and Furious. That's what you're saying?
Well, I don't know each situation could be different, so I don't know really what it is.
No, it's nothing different. When the Congress says you have to testify and based on a subpoena, you have to show up.
And what if you don't? What happens?
Nothing happened.
Okay, so you don't. It means you don't have to. That means you don't have to.
No, you don't. You have to. You don't explain to me. You don't let me explain.
Listen. I'll put you on mute right now. If you say you have to testify, but if you don't, nothing happens, that means you don't have to. There's no penalty. If I have to do something, then there's got to be a penalty attached if I don't do it. But since there's not, I don't have to.
You have to. You get prosecuted by the DOJ.
Oh, so hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. So there is a penalty?
There's a penalty.
So what you just said that if you don't testify, nothing will happen. Now you're saying that something will happen. So which one is it?
Within the Congress cannot arrest you. That's what I mean. The Congress can go and make you testify, but the DOJ is supposed to go after you for not testifying.
So, okay, my question was, if you don't testify, what happens? You said, sir, you said nothing. But now, sir, I'm not finished. I said, if you don't testify, what's going to happen? You said nothing will happen. Now you're saying something will happen. So which one is it? Which one is it?
Nothing by the Congress, but the DOJ. Okay, so do you...
Sir. I mean, my question did not get answered. I'd like to answer to my question, if you would be so kind. Which one is it? If you don't testify, will something happen or will something not happen? Which one?
If you don't testify, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General is supposed to go and prosecute you.
So something will happen?
Let me explain, but you don't let me explain to you.
I mean, look, first of all, you got to just tell me which one it is, then you can explain. So start with telling me which one it is, then you can explain what's going on.
And then you get charged. And then you...
Look. Okay. We don't got all night, so I'll ask you one last time. Which one is it? Then explain.
Then you go to the attorney.
All right. Check it out. Let's move on to something else, because you're not answering the question.
So he's ignoring subpoena, and so he's going to be charged with obstruction of justice. Of course, he's in charge. The DOJ won't do anything because he's his lawyer. So the Attorney General is supposed to take charge of this situation. What is going to happen in the future when another party does something, whether Republican or Democrats, they won't respond subpoenas, they won't follow the law, and the rule of law is being lost in America. That's what will happen. That's what eventually will happen, because they're going to say, if Trump didn't testify, why should I testify? If Trump didn't follow the rules, why should I follow the rules?
At the end of the day, nothing will happen.
Why others
at the end of the day, nothing will happen. Sir, I'm talking. At the end of the day, nothing will happen. This whole thing has been just a kangaroo court, a sham, a scam, made to make Trump look bad because they don't have anybody that's going to win in 2020 on the Democratic side of things. That's going to be the end result. It doesn't matter if the people that were called to testify gave every piece of information they had on the stand. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because it was going to be the same result. They were going to say, okay, let's get him impeached on something. Let's get him on, obstructive Congress or whatever they wanted to get him on to go through with the impeachment and make him look bad. That was going to be, Maxine Waters said it from the very beginning in 2016, 2017 when he got inaugurated. It was going to be this result regardless.
It doesn't matter about Maxine Waters is just one person. I don't care about Maxine Waters. The rule of law is supposed to be prevail in America. When the President of the United States and people in Congress swear in, they say, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is not about a political party. This is not about polls. This is not about good economy. This is about the Constitution. And if you going above the law, that means you lose respect for the Constitution. So why we have a Constitution in the first place?
All right, I'm gonna get to my next call, but I'm gonna answer your question. If a thing is illegal, then you get prosecuted for the illegality of said thing. If there's no charges, no prosecution, and Democrats definitely want to charge them with something. They want to get them. If that doesn't happen, then you can't say that somebody violated a law. A law has to be enforced with some kind of criminal action if it's broken, or civil action if it's broken, or whatever the case. If that's not the case, then what are we really talking about? But thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. All right. Yeah, this whole thing, it's just a bogus thing. Why even interrupt your life for something that's like this? It doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't show up to testify in front of these people. I saw something right there I wanted to read. You Are One of Us says, well, both of you are missing is that they can't call witnesses for a fishing expedition. That's what it's going to be too. A fishing expedition, just trying to find something that ain't even really there. But let me get to the next call. Jordan, what's happening?
Can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Okay, that's good. How's everything going, ABL?
Everything is good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Hey, Greta Thunberg is Time Person of the Year.
Yeah, I saw that. But they always select kind of like strange people, or like they do different things. Like they got Trump one year, Person of the Year, but then they selected Hitler back in the day, like in the 30s. They selected Joseph Stalin twice. And they got Slick Willie in there. So they always kind of do weird things like that. I think at this particular point in time, it's just trying to get attention to their magazine. I mean, I'm not really sure who still buys Time magazine anymore, if they're even still in print in the stores and whatnot. So it's trying to get attention. It doesn't really mean anything, just like award shows at this particular point.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate because you have this girl who has done nothing but to pontificate her emotions, and say some of the most outlandish stuff in front of the UN, in front of the former president, and God knows who else. And then you have, like, if you know a Dutch entrepreneur named Boyan Slat, he is a CEO of a company that is trying to develop technologies to rid the oceans of plastic and other trash. Mm. And he's young and he's making progress, and he gets virtually no recognition from CNN or the press or anybody. Mm. Yeah, and it's just unfortunate.
That's a very good point. People actually out there doing something to make a change. Then they're cleaning the plastic up. They don't get talked about. They're not given any kind of honors. They're not on television all the time speaking. But Greta Thunberg, what is she actually doing? Just giving random speeches occasionally. And that's pretty much it. And she's like the patron saint to be of climate change. When Al Gore kicks the bucket, it seems pretty weird to me that those who do nothing get the most attention, and those who actually do a lot get no attention. It's pretty weird.
Yeah. For those of you who are interested, Boyan Slat, it's BOYANSLAT. You can look him up and you'll see all sorts of stuff. I mean, he's doing this while Greta's doing those speeches. So check him out. He seems pretty cool, But also about MSNBC, it's really weird. Well, I mean, it's not weird. I think they're pretty. They know that that what was I gonna say? They are trying to really discredit Blacksit and other places, especially that woman. I forgot her name. The woman who was speaking.
Shireen
Mitchell, yeah. I looked at her Twitter out of curiosity, and she's just sitting here. She's doing what you see typically on Twitter when you see a bunch of people getting criticized for what their talking points, and they're like, "Oh, look at all these haters!" Ha ha ha. And then you look at the source, the place she works at. Her name was Shireen. What was her name?
Shireen Mitchell.
Okay. You look at her Twitter feed, and it's just she's being bombarded with people criticizing her, and that source she mentioned, that source about violence against women, stop online violence against women. Yeah, when you see a source like that, you kind of want to steer away because that has also been used for a bunch of stuff like I think online rape and God knows and what else is in there. anyone who looks at that source, you kind of just need to steer away from it.
It's probably her own organization.
I think she is. She's the founder, I believe.
I believe so. So it was like, basically, I said these groups are bad because I think so. I put out a study. I studied it. I was in my room later at night and I studied it online. So here's what I came up with. All these groups are bad because they want black folks to think differently and possibly not vote for the Democratic Party.
Exactly. And they try to discredit it further by calling it disinformation, even though it's not disinformation. It's just people expressing their viewpoints of why they feel disillusioned by the Democratic Party.
That's right.
But I mean, I feel like she's just, it's funny. People want to call Republicans, black Republicans, bootlickers and Sambos and stuff. And then you have this person pretty much just shilling for the Democratic Party, despite the fact that I don't see any real reason to vote for them other than, I mean, no real reason actually, because I feel like these people don't understand why people are kind of mad at the Democratic Party. It just seems like you have cities that are in power for 50 years or like for decades, like Chicago and Baltimore, and there's no progress when it comes to black people in those areas. And I don't think Shireen or anybody or MSNBC. I mean, I understand Joy Reid because she's in like the elite class. She's a lot of any mistakes she makes or anything she doesn't get affected by. She'll still be making money. But you have worse conditions in these cities, and these people are just completely out of touch with them.
That's right.
So, and then you have Don Lemon and his reaction to the memes. You mentioned that people like Van Jones and all those people on CNN are actors, and I'm thinking he's acting here. He sounds like his things are not genuine because really it's a nothing burger. You don't have to report on this, but you're reporting on it, and then you have the incentive to just pretend like you're dumbfounded on it, even though we've known this is Trump's behavior for the past 3 years, and it's irrelevant because that tweet that Trump made is just him being funny, being, banter, friendly banter, cooking up some spicy memes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. And by making them mad, Trump is kind of, I always say that when trolls make people mad or dumb or make people mad or make people act like the way Don Lemon does, it feeds into their point that they're easily ticked off by the smallest things. So yeah, that was funny. And I don't think Don Lemon's approach to it was genuine. I think he was just acting just to try and, I don't know, try to convince people.
Oh, of course. That's all it's about. I mean, these people aren't really, like I said, they're actors. They're just playing a particular role. And maybe at that particular point in time, he's just trying to fill up space on the air. He didn't want to have dead air, so he had to say something, and it was just some kind of fake outrage at this particular meme. It's a meme. It's not even, it's meant to be a joke. It's it. But people don't, want to take it that way. And a guy like Don Lemon will just take advantage of it for that particular point in time.
Yeah, pretty much. And my last point before I head out, Illinois, I think Illinois has legalized marijuana.
Have they?
I think so. I think it says, because I have an article here saying that the city of Evanston, Illinois, which is like 12 miles north of Chicago.
Oh yeah, Evanston
is gonna pay reparations to black people with taxes on marijuana sales.
Evanston is not even. That's like a suburb. It's like not even really. That's hilarious though.
Yeah, they said that that marijuana will be legal next month, and so what they'll do is they put a 3% tax on marijuana sales in that city.
So basically, if you are a black person in a nice suburb or partly nice of Evanston, Illinois, outside of Chicago, you get money just for being black. You get an extra welfare check for being black. Even if you have money, I'd be insulted.
Well, actually, it's even worse because they're not actually going to give checks to black people doing this. They're going to just like give it to certain programs in the black community. So I don't even know if you could call this a reparation.
Nah, that's just taxpayer funding local things. That's all. That's nothing. That's just tax and spend. That's it.
Yeah. And they're planning to cap it. So like when it reaches like they have the math wrong here. They said that they want $500,000 to $750,000 grabbed from this tax, but then a year. But then they want to cap it at $10 million in the next 10 years, which is weird. It's like they don't know math. But
right.
Yeah, this is what they're doing.
That's strange, but hey, it is what it is.
And if you're a black person who buys marijuana, guess what? You pay your own reparations.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. Because it's like, if you do that now, reparations, it'll come from my own pocket. So it's like, you're going to get it from the tax money. I pay taxes. So how about just not do that and just, reduce taxes for everybody in America, regardless of what the race is. We can make our own way for ourselves rather than begging the government to give us our own money back.
Exactly. It seems as though those two options are completely indistinguishable.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Somebody's yelling next caller. All right. Shut up, Darth Lord Vader, whoever you are. All right. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to be in chat. So I'll talk to you later, ABL.
All right. Thank you for the call, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Reparations. No. Just let me be an American and make my own way. How about that? 719, you're on line. We're speaking to.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Does anybody ever think that maybe Trump deliberately pushed this impeachment for one reason? It was the only way he could bring the bad actors to the very top of the pile. These people have been underground for so long, running this country, and nobody ever really paid attention to what they were doing. But now that they've impeached him on ridiculous things, and he's been yelling and screaming at him basically to do it, look how fast they all came to the surface.
I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. That could have happened. I'm not sure if it did or not, but I wouldn't put it past him.
Anything on him. They've tried now since before he was elected. So, besides for their crap like with Stormy Daniels and stuff, everything that most normal people have in their lives, plus the fact that he grew up a playboy. Let's not pretend he wasn't. He had money, he was looks, women throwing themselves at him. So, besides your normal stuff going on when you're young and with money, there was trying to bring these people to the surface was almost impossible. I mean, we've all known that the bad actors are on both sides for years and years, but we could never quite touch them because, they would duck back in their hole as soon as you got your fingers even close to them. But now all of a sudden they have proven just how corrupt that they truly are, because they keep going and going, and Trump just sits there and laughs at them and pushes it because he knows nobody's going to impeach him. The country would erupt then. So, I mean, as far as take him out of office. But by this impeachment, he has shown everybody just how dirty both sides really are. In our intelligence agencies, our lawmakers. So before everybody thinks that, Trump, I think he knows exactly. He's wiggling a carrot over here and then beating him with a stick on the other side.
Yeah, I think you got a good point there.
So I think that, and then I think he also knew that impeachment would help him because it's done just exactly what he set out to do. Now, regardless, without senators, the so-called lawmakers, but I agree with the people on TV. Without those people, he's neutered in the office because he can't pass laws or make laws.
That's right.
I think the reason Mitch McConnell is holding up the deal now until the impeachment is over, I think he's doing that deliberate because Pelosi's trying to go out there and take credit for something that doesn't belong to her or the Democrats. So if she runs around and does this now, she can say, see, I told you we could impeach and work together. So then McConnell comes out and says, yeah, no, I don't think so. You're not taking credit for any of this. So as soon as you're done impeaching, let us know and we'll get right on that vote.
That's right.
So, to be real honest, I in a lot of things, I think Trump knows what he does. Honestly, most people don't realize, usually when you really like a president, he's not doing his job. It's when you are angry at him a lot of the time that he's getting things done because he's annoying people.
That's a very good point. If a person is just likable and there's never any kind of problems, because they're not doing anything, you got to be able to rock the boat and, ruffle a few feathers to actually get some things done. If you just, being the good guy and sitting in the back, not doing anything, people will love you because you're not doing anything. You're just being this cool person, a socialite. That's not actually a leader, though. A leader's going to have people that agree and disagree all the time because they're always doing things to lead from the front rather than just being a figurehead out in the front doing nothing.
And there you have Obama.
Yeah, exactly. That was him.
Yes, there you go. And I mean, everybody's out there how they love him, and he was magnificent and giving him awards, and he got absolutely nothing done. Trump has been in there since day one, I mean, literally in the muck of things, fighting both sides. And, yeah, people are always saying, well, I wish he wouldn't tweet as much, but I think most of that is because he knows that it'll surface these people, and it does. It brings them right to the surface with anger and hatred, and it shows just exactly how corrupt our government truly is and how capable they are of getting rid of our democracy without us ever even noticing what they... Because then if anybody thinks that the intelligence agencies have never done this before, or the senators, they're dead wrong. It's just they were never so blatant about it. This has been going on for 200 years. It's just now they got caught. And the only way Trump could really do that, he could sit there till he's blue in the face and say, it's corrupt, you see what's happening, but that means nothing. But then when you've got to watch it with your own eyes, you actually can see it. So, in all honesty, I think Trump knows exactly what he's doing, but then it still goes back to, without the senators to vote with him to make law, he's a figurehead on a car. So if you want to make a difference, you're going to have to get rid of the Democrats in Congress, because these are, and the Republicans also, that are no better than they are. Personally, Lindsey Graham, I'm so sick of him. I wish somebody would just, I don't know, shove a bunch of gum in his mouth so it would glue his lips together or something. All I hear from this guy is, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and all he does is have lunch with the president and golf. So I don't know exactly these big scenes he has where he talks all this crap and everything, and then he comes out and says, well, we're not going to call any witnesses in the Senate. Seriously, people? I mean, come on. So, like I said, the best way to defeat the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans is to, when Trump tells you to vote for somebody, vote for him. Hopefully it's a senator. But he's also got to quit listening to these people and rehiring these good old boys out there. Ray is dirty. In fact, what Ray would be getting from me as a Christmas bonus is a pink slip for coming out and saying, yep, you can see we did absolutely nothing wrong, no corruption, and he knows that that is a bald-faced lie. But I know you're busy tonight. I enjoyed your show, and have a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, same to you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the call.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the call. I most certainly appreciate her. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys as well. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the super chats here. Thank you to Frank G, who says executive branch is unitary and is not subject to the whims of Congress unless the judiciary agrees the executive branch privileges are overruled. There you have it right there. Black and white. Can't really argue that. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Sushi, who says Time Magazine Person of the Year should be Conan the Military Dog. He has my vote. Hey, I'm right there with you, boss. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Rick Beavers, who says Trump is guilty of things and stuff. You know that one thing with the stuff we can't find yet. Exactly. That is 100% correct. That is how the left operate. That is how some people like Ivan, I ain't gonna say the name no more, that's how they pretty much operate. But thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Let me get to the next call here. 702, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Mark.
All righty, Mark. What's happening?
Nothing much. Have you started your book yet?
I've not started the book yet, but that's definitely coming for sure.
Right on. I think you should write too. Book 1, But I Digress by ABL, and then book 2, Kerfuffle by ABL.
There you go. New York Times bestsellers.
For sure. Yeah, they say if you can like write 4 pages a day, you're considered like the very best writer. Even like the best ones will write only 1 page a day, but 4 pages a day, that's 120 pages a month, or 360 every 90 days. That's 1 book every 3 months. But I mean, that's wishful thinking. That's like no editing or anything, you know?
Right.
Yeah. As for like the shooting in New Jersey, you know, it's a bummer that happened, but you know, the Sackler family killed tons of Americans with opioids, and nothing happened to them, and there's no reporting, and there's no outrage or anything at all, you know?
Well, I mean, it's probably because it was legal to do that, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. If you go about things in a certain way, despite, you know, the real figures and the truth of how many lives were lost, it's all about who can be in position to go about things in the slickest way possible. Did anybody talk about the Sacha Baron Cohen speech?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh, okay. Like Barat Ali G called himself the first fake news journalist, and then went on a rant about how everyone else should be censored like Alex Jones, and that the ABL should dictate to the big tech companies who they should allow to speak.
That doesn't make any sense. And then my thing is, who is Borat, a.k.a. Sacha Baron Cohen, to say anything to anybody? You're just a random person, really, a private citizen. You're not in government. You have no power. Like, who cares what he thinks?
Yeah, plus he's a British guy. You know, it's weird to have like a British guy telling American big tech firms what they can do, or Alex Jones what he can do, like as if he has any more credit. I would say that Alex Jones has far more credibility than Ali G or Barat.
Oh, absolutely. Alex Jones just got caught up in a legal situation with the I think it might have been the Parkland survivors or something like that. That's what really got him in a lot of trouble. But beyond that, Alex Jones has been a go-to source, a lot of information for a long time. InfoWars, well-respected place to get information. Sacha Baron Cohen is a nobody and not even American.
Yeah, I heard he was under all those lawsuits from Sandy Hook, but what I really think is like they're using lawfare against him, because I look at people like a Roger Stone, a completely innocent guy who may go to jail for the rest of his life, and they're saying he may even get Epsteined in prison. And if something like that happens to a Julian Assange or a Roger Stone, everybody is next, because that's about as broad daylight. They got mad at Trump for saying something with some line about, shooting someone on Main Street, but isn't that exactly what has happened to Roger Stone or a General Flynn or a Julian Assange? You know, the charges, they're very wishy-washy. They're just not there, just like this impeachment hearing, you know? There's no real evidence, no real witnesses, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And with Roger Stone, that whole, the raid in the middle of the night, well, early morning, but in the darkness with all these FBI and just too much. And CNN was there. I was watching a podcast. I forget who the host was. It might have been Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. And he had an FBI guy there, an ex-FBI, did like 20-something years in the FBI. And he was saying how the whole thing was just stupid. Like, there was no need for all of that. This was not a dangerous person. He was always in D.C. You could have just said, hey, Roger, I see you in Starbucks. Come with me. He would have just surrendered. It wouldn't have been no problem. That whole thing was just totally politically motivated. And I hope that Donald Trump pardons Roger Stone And a few more folks as well, because this is kind of just at this point it's stupid. It's just trying to get one person to get to somebody else with no real evidence of any kind of crime that's committed on either side.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's cool that you listen to Jordan Belfort. I mean, you're a real business-minded guy. I try to listen to people like that, but I'm just not that sharp. But the thing about there's stuff that goes over my head that I'm sure that you pick up on. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, the funniest thing about this impeachment hearing is they're always talking about foreign influence in our elections. And yet Democrats are always siding with foreigners over Americans. They don't want to put up the wall. Like, the social services always go to like an invaders or illegals or other people or HB, the visas, whether it's the neocons or whatever. And then they're like, we can't have foreign influence in our elections. And the Americans are like waving, going like, what about us? As sector by sector for the last 30 years or for generations, you've done nothing but replace Americans, even at Disney, with foreigners. So who's really the foreign influence here?
That's a very good point, especially with the illegal aliens. They want to have open borders, let anybody in. This whole thing about family separation, can't separate families. So basically, you can't lock anybody up, because if you get locked up in America, you won't have your wife and kids in there with you. You're going to be by yourself. They'll be somewhere else, not with you. You'll be separated. So basically, open borders, come one, come all. We're not doing any kind of screening or whatever. And then eventually they want them to become naturalized citizens so they're going to be able to vote. So right there you have foreign interference in our election. You're trying to import foreigners to determine who's going to be the president and who isn't. That's a direct foreign interference. Trump wants to end that and do away with that. But he's the guy that wants foreign intervention. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, the gerrymandering of the districts is definitely like a downfall. And a lot of people, I guess, think that historical accuracy wrong, when a lot of people on the right fell for that big lie that somehow Reagan handed over California via amnesty, and that's not entirely true. That was done by other people. I don't have the name in front of me. Maybe next time I'll write it down. And I don't have other stuff for you this evening, sir, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Shout out to my man Mark for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to all you guys calling on in. I appreciate you guys as well. 100%. This is a good comment right here. Game Cooker US Rocks VR says, I'm a middle of the road Democrat, but I don't think that exists anymore, so I'm probably just going to vote right from now on. I see that all the time, man. You're not alone. The left has left you. You just regular person going about your day, and you see what's happening over here. They've gone so extreme. It's like, okay, what do I do now? Do I vote with the extremists? You just stay where you are. You're pretty much lined up with us. They've left you and you've defaulted over to us. So welcome. Let me get to the next call. 203, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm well. About yourself?
Pretty good. How are you?
Everything's all good. So what's on your mind?
Well, my thing about this whole sham over there in Hollywood Congress over there. My thing is that they're saying that they're doing this, abuse of power, but they're the ones that are abusing the power, because if you look at all of them, all of the ones that stand behind a podium and say that, they all are in districts that support sanctuary cities. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't that go against immigration law?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the law is most certainly being violated if you are in favor of not following the law that's on the books.
So they're the ones that are really correctly abusing their power, correct?
Absolutely. That's a very good point you made. Yes, I mean, 100%.
And I have another thing, too. I was watching Tucker Carlson last night, and he did an investigation in AOC's 14th district, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one that goes there about climate change, right? She's all about global warming and helping your environment out and all that. But do you know that there's trash lingering throughout her district?
I did not know that.
And not only that, but it's actually her district is anti-American. A majority of it are illegal aliens.
Wow. So you have illegal aliens everywhere, trash everywhere. So I'm not really understanding how AOC's district is, benefiting from her being there. It seems like they're not really.
No, that's what I guess that voted her in, because he did a study, and not only that the guy from City Journal, I think he's from like Manhattan Institute over there in New York. It's like kind of like a research institute place.
Yeah.
And they have like a City Journal, and he works there, and he was on Tucker Carlson, and he said that not only that, but you have these illegal immigrants in here, and not only do they live there, and not only are they doing all the trash, but the trash that they're throwing out, the landlord won't even accept.
Wow.
And not only that, but they're living in like basements and stuff like that, like basically in hiding.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's funny though. It's funny. It's the same thing that he's always been saying. Whatever the left is trying to say you're guilty of, they are doing it too.
Oh, 100%. Like a lot of what the left does, they what they call project onto us what they're doing themselves.
Uh-huh.
And they say we're abusing power. They're abusing power. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're breaking the law. Why they say we're breaking the law? Like
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. Go ahead, boss.
Yeah, and the thing is that you have that guy that always calls you. It's funny. When you talk to people, you remind me of. You ever heard of Jesse Lee Peterson?
Yeah.
You remind me of him because every time he has his Fallen State show. I'm sure you heard of it.
Yeah.
And every time somebody he does an interview with, like most of the times, like sometimes they walk off and leave.
I've seen people. He's like, "Why are you running? Where are you going?"
Yeah, they run, and like it's funny because like you have people coming and calling you, and that person, he'll get on there and he'll say stuff, right? But the thing is that like he's no different than them because he's arguing with you and debating with you, but he has no actual facts to stand on what he's talking about.
Right.
So then basically you have to like cut him off so he can just shut up.
Right. Hey, that's how it has to be sometimes. Yeah.
I watch your show almost like maybe, when it's on, and like your videos and stuff like that, and then like when people talk to you, like when you have these shows, and it's so funny because you get these people on there and they debate, but you would think in a world like this that we live in, that they would bring some kind of facts somewhere along the line. With all this technology and this smart device at their fingertips, that they would come up with some kind of logical facts to defend the argument.
That would make sense, but that's not always what happens.
Well, hey, someone told me if there was a such thing as nonsense, there'd be no sense at all.
That's right.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because there's no way. I don't understand how these people actually vote for these Democrats because they don't do nothing. I live in a sanctuary state too, which is Connecticut.
Mm.
And not only that, but I was overhearing today that not only that, but people are leaving Connecticut, right? Because like a majority of them are like Latino, and if they go to college, like they get like $1,000 up front.
Wow.
All right, but if you get somebody that's like white or whatever, I'm not trying to trying to say anything, whatever. But that's wrong. That is affirmative action, and if they want to play the race card, that is racist.
Right.
Well, to me, I don't really believe that racists exist. Okay, I think it's between right and wrong, good and evil. That's my thing, and I stick to it. But that's their whole argument. It'd be a good song for you to actually listen to.
What's that?
It would be I have friends in safe spaces by Prager.
I check it out.
Oh, all right. Well, any questions for me, sir?
Nah, that's pretty much it, man. I gotta wrap it on up, put a bow on the top, man. Close the show.
All right, sir. You have a good night. I didn't mean to take much of your time away.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. You enjoy your time now.
All right, now take care.
Fellow American.
All right, shout out to the caller, but I got to go ahead and wrap it on up. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you're still on the line, I'm sorry. It's not my fault, but I got to go. I got to go on and scoot on out. Thank you all for the great show. It's been real. Shout out to all the super chatters, the viewers, the moderators, everybody. Did I get around super chat? Hold on right quick. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I did. If anybody is left, I'll just go ahead and read you guys off. Shout out to Zadochi's Cane Sword, my man, who says, what are your thoughts on the semantics of spying versus non-condoned surveillance during IG Horwitz's appearance today? That was hilarious. It's the same thing. I mean, that's like a definition of spying. Non-condoned surveillance. If it's surveillance and I didn't condone it, that's spying. Matter of fact, let me look at the definition of spying. Okay. Work for a government or other organization by secretly collecting information about enemies or competitors. Okay. Now, is there a synonym for the word spy? Let me see. Hold on. Spy synonyms. Of course, Google won't have it right when I need it. Okay, for the word spy, not necessarily to spy, agent, detective, informer, investigator, mole, operative, secret agent, secret service, undercover agent, emissary, lookout, observer, patrol, picket, plant, scout, sleeper, sleuth, snoop, spook, spotter, watch, double agent, espionage agent, foreign agent, inside agent, intelligencer. All those things right there seem like somebody that could be doing some non-condoned surveillance. That's hilarious. But hey, this is the government. This is what goes on. At the end of all this, I think that Trump will be just fine. He'll be reelected, and he'll run on this whole thing. All of this right here is just campaign videos. It's campaign stump speeches is easy. Just laying it out for him. It's like you giving a guy alley-oop to the hoop with nobody around him. He could just dunk it or give a finger roll and win the game. It's just so easy. It's ridiculous. It's almost too easy. And then on top of that, you don't have anybody in there that can actually compete in the election. So it is what it is. But thank Zedus Kane for the donation. I definitely appreciate him. And I think that will be a wrap for me. Thank you to my moderators. You guys do a great job all the time. We got Michelle A. We got Shreebs. We got True Helper. We got, let me see, I think Elijah Jean's in here. Ansel's in here. Thank you all for what you're doing. Bill from the Hills, of course. You guys do a great job all the time. Definitely appreciate you. But I got to go ahead and wrap it on up. Put a bow on the top. Oh, super chat. Last super chat. Thank you to Milos, my man, who says, I look at this globally. Could this have all something to do with a critical look at NATO? There's a lot of money here. Just a thought I have. Peace. Good point. It definitely could be that. I think Trump was able to get countries to commit more money to NATO rather than relying upon us to foot the bill until they can get their things together. So, hey, that's definitely a good point. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. And I'll be back live again this Saturday. And, of course, I'll be doing videos all throughout the week, pre-recorded videos all throughout the week. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, please do so. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell as well. Click the bell. You should get notified when I go live or post a new video. That's the way it should be, but it could change. Also, like this particular video, share it as well. And that will be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.